Here.
Burgess.
Here.
Chavez.
Here.
Hayes.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Williams. Here.
All right, good evening, everyone. The first item on the agenda, first of all, let me remind you that we do not have the mics tonight. We cannot get us operated. So we are going to speak up so that everyone would be able to hear what we have to say. So if you cannot hear, just ask us to speak up. We won't get offended. All right. The first item on the agenda is the presentation for the street lighting program, American Green Technology.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, board members. My name is Lil Muhammad. I'm a representative of American Green Technology, and I'm proud to be a part of this organization for a number of reasons, but the most important reason is, as we well know, we're living in perilous times right now. Economic situations are causing major problems to municipalities like yourself, and as a result of that, we're finding people like yourself feeling the brunt of it. These board members and the mayor and his administration are trying desperately, just like most other municipalities and villages, to come up with creative ways to bring about some economic relief for the village and the people of the village. But sometimes that creativity is all for naught. And then sometimes creativity can be seen in more than one way. What we're seeing now across the country is municipalities and villages like yourself are looking at their electricity bills and striving to cut back on those electricity bills so that the people of the administration won't lose jobs, people working for the city won't lose jobs, and as a result, the people remain happy in the administration will in doing so. The company I represent is a big factor in that. We represent close to over 10,000 companies and several municipalities. We manufacture a light that can be put inside buildings like this and the street lights. I understand that you're looking at getting some street lighting done right now. And I'm familiar with the type of lights that you're looking at. The type of lights that you're looking at is not comparable to this light. The light that I have over there in the corner is an 80-watt light bulb. And you can see the light there. It's shining and it's bright and has a natural light. We're pleased at that. Why is that important for the municipality? Good question. That guy asked me. When a police officer is driving down the street and he sees someone doing something he's not to be doing, he can tell whether or not that's a green jacket he has on or a blue jacket by the light. Coming from the street lights, he can also tell whether the license plate is GL5213 or GL5125 based upon the pinpoint of our lights. Our light has a natural light to it, and the good thing about our light, which is really, really crucial to the Sauk Village of Sauk Village, is that we have a 10-year guarantee on our light. No one on the planet has that type of guarantee. We guarantee that our lights will stay at that level for 10 years. In conjunction with that, we guarantee that the light has no problems with the ballast because we have no ballast. Why is that important? Ballast, if anyone knows anything about electricity and anything about putting lights in, you go up to go change the light, and unbeknownst to you, and much to your dismay and discontent, it's a ballast problem. Come back now, look at the ballast, go back and put that up. Is your public works person here? He would find that to be very, very attractive. If If you had outside people doing that work, that adds to the cost. But let's say you don't have outside people doing that type of work. Your inside people here will now won't have to worry about changing balance, won't have to worry about the expenditure to balance the lights, and now only be concerned about the lights. What's the concern about the light? Nothing, because in 10 years it's going to work. And that's if the lights are on 24/7. Let's say the lights are not on 24/7. Let's say they're on half that. Now you're talking 20 years. Mr. Mayor is about 46 years old. That'll take him right into 66 years old. So I say all that to say the opportunity that we have here to be able to help you, the citizens of Sauk Village, to help the village is significant. I'm a resident of the South suburbs. I grew up down the street here and I went to school at Ritchie's High School. Graduated from there. Right now, there's a huge safety problem going on in Park Forest. My mother still lives there. And I came out before I came to your meeting here because they have a village meeting where the residents are getting together to have a community watch. One problem that came up was they didn't have ample lights. The lights are being turned off. I was dealing with a municipality out of Michigan. Michigan is suffering, the city of Michigan is suffering so bad right now that they asked the utility company to pull the poles out of the ground because they couldn't afford to pay the lights. That type of expenditure shouldn't hamstring an organization, a municipality like Sauk Village. We have the best prices on the market, and we have the best quality on the market. That's just an 80-watt light. You can see what type of glow that's giving over there. Any questions so far? Yes, sir.
Were you covering your presentation, cost savings, or?
Yeah, I was going to, if you have internet, I can show it to you. I can look up. No problem. No problem. I didn't tell Ms. Turner that. But I can show you cost comparison. We have overhead lighting. Our lights are very attractive. Another good thing about our lighting, the compartment where our lights are put in is sealed with 1 bolt. So what's your public works supervisor's name? Kevin. So if Kevin had to go up there for whatever reason, if he went up there, we put the lights in tomorrow, and he went in there 6 years from tomorrow, he would see nothing in there. No bird droppings, no nestings, no debris of any sort, because the seal is shut. What does that mean? That means now that you're still getting the full volume of the lights that you're looking to get. This is very, very important. He would testify to that. Yes, sir.
I'm looking at this picture. I'm sure
That's just a sample light, right?
we have to change our section.
We'll have to change it up. Like for light. If it's a retrofit, we have that as well. It's like for light. If we have to retrofit, we can do that. That's no problem. Extra cost, but it's minimal. It's minimal. We can change it. I'm driven around and taking a look. We can put it in there. That's no problem. Right now, we just put all the lights in Indiana Toll Road. We went up against, I can't begin to tell you how many competitors, and they chose us based upon 10-year guarantee and no balance. We have got some sample lights in the city of Chicago. We're working with the city of Chicago right now. We'll give that information this term, and we have the Indiana Toll Road this one. As you well know, the Illinois Secretary of State's office is giving this DECO. So now it's an onslaught of municipalities looking to grab these and garner these grants. So you'll see more and more of what's going on. And they were on hold because they knew that those grants would come based upon the initiative that President Obama put forth. I mentioned to Ms. Turner that I can help her with DECO and we help with those incentives in place. I'm very good at DECO, yes, sir. No, grants are absent. I mean, a third party outside of this. What I do is I will work with the point person, whether it's a business, whether it's municipality, around those brands. But we also do another thing, we work hand in hand with Congress with regard to the rebates system.
That's right.
Our lights, those are brightest, have the lowest amps. That means there's less juice coming through the light. And what does that mean? That means your electricity bill goes down significantly. What are you paying right now per kilowatt for your electricity? Do you know? Okay. Well, you can be rest assured that it's going to drop significantly.
Mr. Muhammad, what is the illuminated footage, square footage of
Of this particular light,
just the 85%?
that I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know because that's just a sample light. I can find out for you. I'll let you know. My technical person was supposed to be here, but he got caught at the airport and didn't make it from Atlanta. We're a local company right in South Bend, Indiana. Less than an hour and 10 minutes of South Bend, close by. Hour and 10 minutes, maybe. Hour and 10 minutes. Any questions from the citizens out there? Yes, sir.
That's an 80-watt wall. We got 2 questions.
I'm sorry. I don't understand my mouth.
We're going to get to.
Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. The mayor is
Citizen, no, we do get.
Okay. I apologize.
Mr. Muhammad,
Yes, sir. Please.
how will the product sell? I know the question you asked, but he said he only have a Chicago.
No. We're all over. Just like the United States Department of Energy is studying our lights. I'd like to be with that. We're dealing with the United States Navy right now, putting lights in all over there. We just put the Portland Trailblazers lights in the Rose Garden there. I'm working with Michael Jordan getting his lights on. I just reached out to Matt Johnson about 10 days ago. I sent him a sample light. He called me back and said, I'll send him to get it. So I knew we were going there. We're working with, I'm trying to reach with the Chicago Cubs right now because they're looking at adding lights in that surrounding area there. I do have to just saw it.
Do you do any sample lighting for?
Absolutely. Yes. We can do a sample light for you. We can do a street that's not lit up. Yeah, but the lights.
More lighting.
More lights, what?
This is the public person. Okay, what's his name?
What's that?
Do you know what the standard wattage of our lights are that Justin has?
Currently, Sauk Trail Torrents are 400 watt high pressure sodiums, and in town, most of them are 26 watt high pressure.
It's the 400 watts that he's speaking about. We can put our 200 watts in there and double that light. Okay, well, that's an 80 watt light right over there. 80 watt. You see how bright that is. The 250, say that? 250, we can put our 100 watts light in there, and it will blow that 200 watt light away. No doubt about it. I've seen those lights, sir. What's your name? Derek, I've seen those lights. We can go light for light with those. But if there's a retrofit, you're looking at a minimal cost of maybe $100.
No, the reason I'm asking, you take that out, put yours in, but you said you got no balance.
No balance.
So I'm sure that they have some sort of, so it has to be some type of retrofit.
Well, no, we keep the balance up there. And then just disengage it. Well, no, you're not catching any juice from the balance if you disengage it. Am I right there? Yeah. Yeah, we bypass it. Typically, you perform it, but if that's a problem, we can get a third party to do that for you. It would take Kevin 8 minutes to put that light up. No, we don't. They do that because it's very intrinsic. And can be convoluted and no problem at all. We instruct them how to do it. 20-minute instruction, and he's probably done it before. It'll take him 8 minutes. Ma'am.
trustee's question was, have we signed a contract? Is that what your question was, trustee? You all have looked at those numbers, but we haven't been able to finalize those numbers because they need to get us approved for the finance part of it. And of course, we're waiting for the audits. And we sent them all of our other financial information, but they're waiting for the audit to approve us for the financial part of it. So it hasn't been completed as of yet.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Trustee Meyer.
They say it's just one light, what cost you to completely convert one light into your system?
One street light,
Okay.
I would think to say one overhead light would be $300.
Kevin, how many lights do we have throughout town?
440 of them.
460.
Yeah, we can go by that. That's ballpark.
Any other questions? Concerns?
I can get the literature to Ms. Turner by tomorrow morning, and lights out here by Monday. Just let me know which lights they are, and we can light up the street, and you can see. I like one of the darkest streets, let me have that, and I'll show you how it looks. Compare that to the lights. Do you have sample lights up already now?
Yes.
We still got,
The three are still up in front here, half outside on these poles.
Compare that, the three that's outside and the lights that four has. And I want you to take a look at the difference between them. You'll notice the lights out here, and I'm not throwing stones and calling, but I just want you to take a look at this. The lights that you have now that are for sample lights, it's going to be more of a direct point. Our lights will be more of a broad spectrum. And what does that mean? That means you're getting more footage with the lights. Right. Yeah. Yes, sir. The lights, and I know those lights because I've gone up against those lights before. It's more of a direct glare, and to be brutally honest with you, I'm going to send Ms. Turner and I'll send the mayor and anyone else, and I can tell you that that causes problems. That causes problems.
Ms. Turner's turn to get out of it.
I'm sorry?
If you send it back to Ms. Turner, she can get out of it.
That causes problems. And that's just not for me. These are coming from third-party organizations along with municipalities like yourself. Someone's driving, that light bounces off a car in her eye, and there's an accident waiting to happen. And I've got pages and pages and pages of information regarding that that substantiates what I'm saying. In conjunction with that, these lights are also out here, and I have to say this because I've been doing you a disservice as well as myself. There's health problems concerning them. These are LED lights out there, and LED lights have been known to cause migraine headaches. Look it up. Look it up. Now, this you won't even find this on our website. But if you look it up, LED lights cause migraine headaches and autism. One of those lights happens to break, the mercury coming down from there will be significant. Our lights don't do that. If you've ever had a migraine headache. So those are just things that I have to say because it's my duty to say it, and I'm before you, and it's just something that I have to say.
just basic comparison. What are you saying that your lights compares to, say for instance, the lights that we're
The most significant comparison, if you look at the proposal that they sent, I haven't seen it, but if you look at it, I guarantee that they don't have a 10-year guarantee on the lights. So by the time the lights, and they're only good to last maybe 40, 50,000, Kevin, am I right? 40, 50? No, the sample lights.
These sample lights, now don't quote me on the warranty, but the sample lights were told us 10 years. Paperwork doesn't say 10 years.
Exactly. My paperwork will say 10 years. Third party, look at the lights, third party, go and do your research and see how long those lights will last. 50,000 hours max. 50,000 hours max, you put you right in 5 years. 5 years from now, you'll be calling back in and asking me to see your proposal again.
You will warranty it in 10 years?
We will warranty it for 10 years. with no ballasts, Kevin. You weren't here when I mentioned this. We don't have any ballasts without us.
Now, these LED or these,
No, this is induction light.
production lights?
Yes. So Kevin verified this one. How difficult is it to go up, change the light? When you get up there, you discover that it's a ballast problem. You have to come back down and go get a ballast for it.
The weight alone of the ballast is a pain.
Say that again for everyone.
The weight of the ballast itself, the transformer, that thing's about 20 pounds.
Exactly. Kevin will not have to change the light for 10 years. Kevin will not have to deal with a ballast problem ever again if you have these lights. That is significant. Am I right, Kevin? Is that significant? Is that not?
That would be great.
That is significant. Now Kevin can be concerned about other things that might be handicapped in order to as well. Yes, sir.
We're asking me questions. If you don't mind, I can ask a few questions.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Shock resistant, vibration problem.
No problems whatsoever.
So
Cold
something
problem.
cold?
When it's cold, no problems.
Start up for cold.
Instant on. That's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. We sometimes get some bad weather with regard to rain. And I don't know if you have it in Sauk Village, but sometimes the lights go out. You laugh. When the lights go out, and when Comet turns them back on, go look at some of the other lights and see how they gradually come up. Gradually come up. And while they're gradually coming up, that's causing more juice to come in. Not with ours. Instant on. I can go turn this light on right now and turn it off. Instant on. That's the way it is if you have a problem with comments, electricity going out. Instant on. So there's no spike charges.
That's what my next question.
Kevin.
Any spike issues with the bulbs or anything?
I'll let Kevin explain what spike issues is.
Right now, it burns out transformers, the ballast, it burns out the bulb, burns out the starters. Like another question, photocell still on the same?
Still on the same, yes.
Okay, that was something to burn out.
No spike charges. That's very important. That also adds to electricity bill going up. Won't be that way with us. And all this is in writing.
But what about a power strike?
No power spikes. No.
There's a built-in,
Right there.
it turns off, comes back on, or turns
I
back on.
understand. Same thing.
No, I'm saying, if we get a lightning strike or static in the area, we're not gonna lose a light by getting struck.
No. As soon as they turn it back on, we're on. Now, act of God is an act of God. If it electrocutes the light bulb, then
Burnt out.
it's burnt out. It's burnt out.
What is the spike means? I know what it does. Exactly what it is. Just the electricity going to the light itself.
I'll tell you what the problem results from. That's what. Because when it's a spike charge, that means that there's a slow gradual coming back on. And that means that there's more juice having to come back in to come in to get everybody up and running. That means that there's more money having to be paid next month to come in. We don't have that problem with our lights. And this is all third-party information. I'll send that to this person as well. The technology that we have is monumental. It's monumental. And with small municipalities like yourself, this is very, very crucial. I was dealing with a municipality that had 14,000 lights in it, and they were struggling, and they couldn't pay their electricity bill. So they decided to turn off 3,000 lights. And some of them in lighted neighborhoods. Community went in uproar. They took umbrage at the fact that at the board meeting, they decided to turn off 3,000 lights. They called me in. After we did a cost analysis, I showed them where they could keep the 14,000 on and still lower their cost of living. The mayor of the town is about to win his next election because of it. And the people are satisfied. Yes, sir.
The last question, I'm sure Mr. Carter's department will see you later. I want to, just to be fair, we need to compare apples.
It would be unfair to myself as well as to you, apples and oranges. It's got to be apples and apples.
What is it that you can say, versus what we have? Right now, we have to look at the watch.
No problem.
You just say that that's a watch. Most of the cases like that,
But let me say this. Typically, we've shown where we have been able to save 50 to 60% on your electricity bill. 50, well, I mean, I can bring them, Kevin, do you have an amp reader?
No.
I mean, what you have? I can show it to Kevin, it's real simple. We can put the amp reader on the lights that you have now, compared to mine, and he can see it right then and there. It's real simple, isn't it, Kevin? It's real simple.
No, I just want to see, I mean,
I can put that in writing.
Right, that's all.
I can put that in writing.
First of all, because, you know,
But I don't know you.
down the road, and we're not saving as much by the time we get through paying all this, you know. And it really costs us, but you still, 10 years, 8 years down the road, you start saving. But I want to see how we're going to start saving, and when we're going to start saving.
Day one.
Okay.
Day one. Day one. And I can show him that project. I mean, if I show the amp meter, it's real simple. For those of you who know the amp meter, it reads what type of amps are going through. And I can show Kevin put the wire around there with what he has now and what I have, and he'll see that our amps are going. But I'll put it right there. But
They have to be low, right? 2 or 3 amps, that's what I'm saying to the point.
if you're talking, no, yeah. No, it won't be. It won't. It's not worth your time for just 1 or 2. Absolutely, yes.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right.
Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I look forward to helping the community and look forward to offering some savings for you and the community. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Let's move to number 3, discussion of the engineer agreement between the Village of Sauk Village and Robinson Engineer for professional services.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Okay.
Trustees, attached to this special agenda is the agreement that we spoke of at the last meeting. I did submit this to the attorney as well. I think there was one additional change Mr. Jones submitted that we sent them. So this is the revised copy that you have here. And his copy is 2-sided, that's why it's a little bit small. This is 1-sided. So don't, okay, so this is what it is in reference to that. And then immediately following, thank you to the clerk, immediately following the meeting of the whole, if you are okay to take action, you may. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Okay. Jen? Yeah.
This is the agreement that we talked about meeting last week before? Last Wednesday, special meeting. So, as promised, as the village manager said, everybody should have gotten a copy of this via their email, plus the addendum, which was Appendix D. This is our standard agreement that we send out in association with low-interest loan projects, because this is all the language that they require. So it's a little bit more complex than their standard agreement, but if you want engineering services potentially covered by the low-interest loan, then this is the language that needs to be included. If you have any questions about any of the language, I'm happy to do my best to answer those.
Again, if I may, Mayor, we did send this to the attorney. He sent a simple email. There were no changes or objections or anything in reference to that. I think the clerk pointed out that we wanted to make sure that the Sauk Village does in the language later on. So, to my attention, they have not mentioned any changes or any disagreements in reference to that. Did you receive anything from the attorneys? No. So they said the last email I got was very simple email, so everything was fine in reference to that. So we can have you to do that. I think it was Trustee Haynes-Mayer that didn't want this to wait until the next official meeting. So this is why we are having a special meeting at the end of this meeting.
Any other questions? Are you going to stick around and see what's going to happen, or should you just wait until you get the information from the village manager?
That is up to you.
I would, Mayor, if you would mind, Mr. Zimmer did send out an email today, dated today. If you could just give him a little, in case some of them didn't get a chance to read it, about the water allocation meeting.
Yeah, there was I spoke with IDNR today in regards to the initial application, and things are moving along. The first step is to have a pre-hearing with IDNR and their hearing officer. It's a very formal process. It's very much like a trial. It's kind of intimidating, but there's a hearing officer who's kind of like a pseudo judge. There's testimony offered. There are witnesses. It's kind of a big to-do, but the schedule is looking like in August we're going to have a pre-hearing, and at that time I'll need to know, because the attorney's going to be contacting me, who wants to be involved in the process, who wants to attend the meetings. Typically they're during the day at 10 or 11 o'clock, and people here will actually offer testimony, give any feedback that might come up. I mean, there's going to be an indication of the process moving forward. I sent out a recommendation that we have the attorney there, the village manager, public works director, and myself at minimum. And then if the mayor and the board would also like to attend and offer testimony, that's obviously your call. That's a good question. I don't know that yet. I'm waiting for that call from the hearing officer.
Typically, you know where it's at.
I'm going to recommend that it's here.
Oh, then it'll be here?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's my recommendation, and then, I mean, we'll see where it goes from there. But there has to be official public notification. I think it's 10 days. IDNR will send out address labels for the village to actually mail out. It goes out to every permitted Lake Michigan water user and all interested parties like MWRD and the IEPA and a bunch of different, it's like 200 and some organizations. And the public is certainly invited. It's a public meeting. It'll be, IDNR will publish that in the newspaper and the legal section. So we'll have that pre-hearing in August likely, and then IDNR said, so far it looks like it's smooth sailing. We would probably have a final hearing in September, and after that point, all the testimony will have been offered, and it'll be given, all that public record will be given to IDNR, and they will make a decision.
And can you speak to the testing on the IEPA as well?
Oh, yes, thank you. The IEPA demand letter for sampling wells, that's going to occur on June 12th, next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So I will be there. Kevin will be there. I imagine Dave Wilbrocker will be there for the testing next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah. And IEPA will be there. It'll be a fun time.
Any other questions?
You said you will probably have to, all the, got about to look over everything in 4 weeks, 6 weeks, before we find out on the meeting.
Well, initially, I was told that the whole process would be a year. I haven't asked that question specifically, but it seems like we're ahead of the curve so far. So I can find that out, how that will get into this.
That year, I got about it last year.
I mean, it'll be close because the timeline we're on now is that we'll have that Lake Michigan water connection constructed by spring, which would be exactly when we get that decision, but if we're ahead, then fantastic.
The only thing I would say is that after you hear me all day, I think it was very good for the people that presented to be a part of that testimony, because that those are people that are part of the business and they know that I'm not sure that there's anybody on the board that can be testify effectively or appropriately for this hearing. So I don't think it's, I don't think there's anything for it.
Our call or was their call?
No, that's absolutely building call. Just if you could let me know at some point so I can tell the hearing officer who to expect.
But it's probably the individuals that you
how did we generate our cost estimate for what's going to cost the Lake Michigan Water Village? Specifically, how did we come up with the line items? How did we come up with what the water rate would be? Things of that.
You don't think that none of, or any of our citizens are going to be a part of that, of the hearing at all?
No, they're absolutely right.
And would they be able to answer any questions with the hearing officer asking you back from the public?
The public will have a chance to offer comments.
Anyone else?
I'll just make sure that, if that list does veer off of the people who are scheduled to testify, if that list is veered, changed from what was in your email, I'd like an email to know exactly who, I'm assuming that will come from the village manager. But, if anybody else has that list, I'd like to know about it.
But I'm also confused. You're saying, I'm hearing the word testify. This is a regulation hearing, correct? So, is your hearing officer going to be calling individuals to testify of the question that you just stated?
It won't be, my understanding is the first hearing won't be that formal. The next one might be more formal. The next one, there'll be a court reporter there. So we'll see what they say at the pre-hearing. But at pre-hearing, it's mainly going to be, well, there's an information gap here. Can you speak to this? If you don't have that information at the next hearing, we would like that formally presented for the record.
And the hearing information is all in your packet that you read.
Not so much. I mean, there are regulations that dictate the hearing, but you know, IDNR usually walks us through that process. So at the pre-hearing, there'll be more information on it. But that's why I'm saying we're not there yet. I'm waiting for that call from the hearing officer. Hopefully, give you more specific guidelines on what to expect.
All right.
Do you need me to stay until the letter?
I think whatever decision is going to be made tonight, we'll be able to get that information.
Just so I can make sure you need 3 signed copies.
Please. And then one of them is yours.
Okay.
So I just need to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is discussion of the amendment to the Village of Sauk Territorial Service Agreement with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago.
Yes, sir. In your package, there's a letter from the Water Reclamation District asking us to amend the language, and they gave us sample language that they asked. That they were making, it's a requirement that they have, so they're requiring it to us. So I sent this out to our village attorney, and they prepared the ordinance, which is attached. I believe I sent that to the clerk electronically. And they added the language that the letter has requested, and we are asking for us to pass this with the Water Reclamation District. That takes our sewer now. We take our sewer out, and definitely we'll be taking it when we get our Lake Michigan water. So this is a requirement they're asking. There's a letter there enclosed, and the ordinance is prepared for you by our village attorney, and the clerk has electronically, and if you so desire, I can put that on the next agenda for next week for approval. It normally would have gone to trustee Myers' ordinance, but it's just a standard ordinance that they're having us to do. The language they provided for us to do so. So it's a housekeeping issue, so I just went ahead and submitted it to the attorney for approval. I just asked the attorney, and this time they got it right and sent it to the clerk electronically, so she won't have to be fussing about that. So, trustees, do you have any questions of me in reference to this? And also, it went through our engineer as well. That this is the standard language that they're requiring us to do.
So we need to approve
with a resolution or ordinance?
Yes, sir, you approve the ordinance at the next meeting. Is that my direction?
Yeah. Any comments on it? Okay. All right, let's move to number 5, the discussion of the Independence Day Parade and the celebration on June 30th, 2012. Yes, Mr. Shabazz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, if I can, just real quick, I know that we're going for a competition next week. I just wanted the board to meet the children that will be going for the competition next week. And I asked for the boxers to come on up here real quick. They would like, if all possible, take a picture with the mayor and the board, if that's possible.
Who's taking the picture?
I got a camera.
And the board, so we can get this done. Okay.
I'm actually missing two students. I'm actually missing Donnie Briggs and Gabrielle, actually the person that we're going to actually be hiring for the community center. She's actually going to be competing in this competition as well. So at least I got you guys a tough employee for the community center. But I thought she was going to be here, but hopefully she arrives and maybe you get the chance to meet her. But I'd like to introduce this is Jackie Scott, this is Rachel Scott, Robert Chavez Jr., Catherine Chavez, Joe Briggs, and like I said, Donnie Briggs is not here. He's in Georgia right now with his mom, but he'll be back next week for the competition. And Gabriella Mejia is not here, but she's also in the competition.
Let's see, you got it correct.
Sure you got the
Shut down. Are you ready? It's been a while.
I'm going to ask Jeff Morgan to come up to the chair real quick. This is my director actually with the parade. My co-chair is actually Ed Myers. These two gentlemen have been working really hard with me on getting this parade together. Also have Debbie Williams, who's probably going to be helping out with the vendors. The biggest discussion that we had in our committee was basically about fireworks, if we wanted to have that cost factor into the actual festivities. Thank you. Through a long discussion between my committee and a few others and guests that came to the committee, we decided not to go that route. Instead, we're going to just have a nice parade and fun festivities. We figure with the duration of the day, most people might want to go home because they're tired and not might actually see the fireworks. So the day we have planned is basically we're going to start off the parade at 1 o'clock, and then we're going to work our way down to the Welch Park area, which I'm hoping that I can get I'm not sure if the village manager did it already. I know Ed was going to discuss it. I believe I mentioned it at our last business meeting or committee meeting, that if we could get letters out to the department heads I talked to Chief Fox, still said he hasn't heard anything yet from the manager, so if we can get him a letterhead.
I've met with Mr. Myers, Chief Trustee Myers, and we're having a meeting scheduled tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Also, which will include police, fire, and public works. We've also scheduled information reference to a parade route, reference to insurance. Trustee Myers has the application that was submitted. I even copied him on the emails as well because he asked for it in reference to applying for the insurance. Initially, we thought that the event would be covered under our normal insurance. It is not, and county's asking for special insurance. He has the application which we submitted today. We spoke, I believe, Monday, correct? In reference to the insurance. And so we started on Friday. We have the application, and so we're trying to get the insurance for that. So all department heads will be up to speed on where we're going to go. Oh, I'm sorry, ESDA will be at that meeting tomorrow as well for traffic control, street, and equipment that we need.
Is that a morning meeting or after?
It's a 1 o'clock afternoon meeting.
Still be at work.
But the purpose of it is just so that Trustee Myers is going to sit in. He said he was co-chairing with you, sir, and so we're going to definitely bring everybody up to speed on what we need to do because it's been a while since we've had a parade of this magnitude. We've also contacted Sherry, Sherrybrook, that's it? What? Sherrybrook Mall. They've contacted Sherrybrook Mall. They've contacted the owner and asked them to clean the parking lot. We're asking them, and also we've scheduled and notified the last record of owner that we have for the vacant lot adjacent to that, for them to cut that as well. So we're working on that to hopefully get that done by the end of the month.
High grass.
Yeah, knee high. So
Yeah,
we call it
that's
something
really
else high, but it is
Higher than me.
Yeah. I think there's like raccoons and other things living in there already.
So we're working on that, and that's going to be part of the agenda as well. So we are definitely trying to do that. And since it's the beginning of the month, we know we have until the end of the month. Our staff is working on that.
I greatly appreciate that, Mrs. Village Manager. There's other details that we went over. Jeff actually went over and did the details on the porta potties. You know what? It was such a good job. You did a lot of fantastic things, Jeff. Finally got the check for the Allstate. If you want to talk about that, talk about some of the other things you set up with State Farm, with the porta potties, and with Skyline Disposal. I'm going to give you the floor real quick, give us a quick update on everything that's going on, and I know Ed's got some things that he's going to want to share, so I'm going to get a chance to pass it over to Ed. He'll fill us in with the other details.
Hello, there it goes. When it comes down to Skyline Disposal, basically what I did is I talked to Gary. Basically what he did is, like, instead of doing a donation in cash form, they're basically doing their services. Okay. When it comes down to the porta potties, same exact thing. Instead of paying like $1,000, it's like, I don't know, it's like $400. So it's a big cost savings. With State Farm, I've tried to go into some of the businesses. There's a check that Alan Bartell from State Farm is in Crete. It's a monetary donation of $25. So basically, that's about it. I've contacted a lot of outside agencies, businesses in the community, and on the outside, we're getting a lot of good response. I know Mr. Myers is going to touch base on that. From fire departments, from police departments, emergency services. Hopefully we can have the residents come out as well. I mean, no good of a parade if the residents don't come out, so please tell your friends and family. And also, I did see something on our water bill. It said that the parade was on the 16th. Yeah, if you look at your water bill, it actually says like Independence Day parade, and it says like something 16th. The other kind of line is drawn on there and it says 30th. So that was like a clerical error, so I don't know who really did that.
Is there any way we can maybe get it on the marquee?
We'll put it on the marquee and try to keep it up as much as possible. I'll make note of that.
Right.
Village manager, I was gonna ask one question. Jeff was inquiring on a donation, maybe receipt form. Do we have such a thing? As some of the people that are trying to make these monetary donations are, I guess, looking to put it as a tax write-off?
We can just put it on the simple letterhead that thank you for the donation of what amount for the parade. I can do that for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I didn't know if we had something that we can give them as a receipt. You were asking for that because I know the gentleman was asking.
Another thing, I did contact the village manager, and I thank her greatly for doing this, is contacting the county highway department. I want to make sure this parade is a good showing for Sauk Village. I mean, we're going to have people from outside of the town coming in, other than just village residents. So I've asked Ms. Turner to contact the county. She's done that, and the highway department is going to come out a couple days prior, and they are going to street sweep and clean the gutters and trash. And, if residents live along the Sauk Trail, if you can pick up any, weeds, grass cribbings, try to make Sauk Trail look as best as it can for the out-of-town people, along with the residents that are going to come out. I mean, let's try to really showplace Sauk Village. And I'll yield the floor to Mr. Myers.
All right, a couple things I've followed up on is we went around, as Jeff mentioned earlier, to the businesses and the new food market down the other end of town. He said he'd give us all the water we would need that day free, and he also will give us a hot dog that we'd like to pass out to participants. He said that would be about 25. We want to pay about 25% of whatever the cost would be on that. He said, you tell me what you want, I'll pick them up, and then we'll handle it later on. It'll probably be very helpful. Then also the couple other businesses I've contacted, they're expecting to send some type of donation, and basically told them to put Village of Sauk Parks and Recreation Committee or parade on it, and that will be sent through the village here. So Debbie or Ms. Turner, you might get some of those. Then the community service, I have a I have about 5 or 6 community service throughout Will County, Cook County, and DuPage County that has work to be done as long as it's done, and the no pay for it, and for helping assisting the community. I've asked, I called both county chief judges, and they said there's no problem. I could use them to pick up the debris along highways. So I'm going to ask my guys I'm sent over, and they're all adults, and they're going to pick up, especially that field over there by the dollar store where the farmer just plowed. That I have an awful lot of paper and stuff, and I'm planning to have him start. 2 of them start this weekend picking that stuff up. Now these guys, they're not criminal. These guys just maybe have pulled down for no insurance violation, no seatbelt violation, stuff like that, and they gave them community service instead of that. A couple other things we have, I will send out the Cook County, the mayor signed the Cook County application today, and I will get that out to Cook County to them, and we'll send out, and I've spoken to them a couple of times, and basically we just have to give them information, and with the meeting that will be going on tomorrow, I think that's, I'll give them maybe a paragraph or so, an email, and I think that's all they will require for that. Basically, I know everyone you've been in town before for a parade. Jeff and I both looked at the area. We're going to try a lot of them in the plaza there. The fire apparatus is going to go on the north side on Jeffrey. If we need to, then we'll put some of the floats and stuff on the side street. I don't think we're going to need it. That area is pretty large over there. We have roughly about 24 entries that's already confirmed. And you won't get your fire or police people coming in and confirming anything until probably about the 3rd week. And I've had the fire department, we're going to send out another over our packs. We can contact over 37 different fire departments at once. So we're going to remind them about the parade so we get that. And I think to ask if all possible, you can get a hold of, you're down there at the county building, if you ask one of the county commanders if we maybe have a Cook County squad in it. And the parade, I would really appreciate that. So, but it looks good, it's looking real good. And big thing, we're inviting the residents to come out, and we're inviting residents, the churches are involved. I know my church and a couple other churches are just making a small floats, or they're putting on the side of cars at their church and stuff. It's a day of celebration for everybody. And if the family wants to get involved, they'll pick up truck, put some stuff on it. It's part of the parade. What the heck? The kids love a parade. And I asked the trustees if each one of you guys want to be please come out. I think the mayor is our previous appointment. Then the one thing that Jeff was able to do, and I'm really happy, is why don't you explain the gentleman that the guy that support the vet.
Well, this has been something that I've been working on very diligently, and sometimes feels like pulling teeth. But I was able to secure the Illinois, Patriot Guards. They are going to come out. I'm in the process right now of dealing with Mr. David Penley. Shane Penley passed away a few years ago. He was one of our servicemen that was killed in a hostile fire in Afghanistan. And he was a friend of mine. He lived right down the street from me. So it's very dear to my heart. What I'm trying to do is they're going to actually come out, and we could have, one guy says, oh, you can have 20, 30 bikes. Jeff, you could have up to 100 bikes come out. So I have no idea how many of these motorcycle riders are going to actually come out, but they're going to support the Penley family and any military veterans that are present and in the past. So that's something I work very, very diligently for. I feel very strongly. I support our military vets, present and past. So that's something I'm very proud of bringing that to Sauk Village. Basically, that's about it.
Any of the trustees, anybody in the audience, know any young gentleman or father, son, mother, they've been in Afghanistan and they came home, get a hold of one of us, and we'll make sure they're part of the group from the Patriot Guard. These guys do an outstanding job of bringing people home. They get in. I know we did a stayer 3 times, and they brought them all, picked them up at the airport one time, and then picked them up after about 30 and escorted to the stayer. But once again, these are young people that went off the war force, and we should support them. And so if you know any other veterans in town, please get a hold of one of us, and we can add them to the list and put them right in the middle. They're going to be in front and back of them. All right, that's all I have.
Like I said, we're going to have a special memorial for them. We're also going to be having out there some lawn games like bean bags. We're going to have some basketball, volleyball. There's going to be a DJ out there. I'm not sure if we're going to have a movie in the building or a movie in the park, depending on the weather and how fast it gets dark. We may plan to have just a movie in the park at the end of it. So I'm looking for everybody to come out. I'm looking for Kevin to actually bring the dunk tank out, and actually asking, see if any village officials like to get in the tank, have a good time with us. It will be fun. I mean, we're going to try to do a little fundraiser for Parks and Recs off of that. Knock down your favorite village official. If we can get you guys out there.
Come on, Derek. I love you, boy.
I'm planning to jump in that dunk tank as well, but
have any municipality have reached out to any other towns?
and it's confirmed that the parade in Chicago Heights is canceled that day.
We were actually fighting with Chicago Heights. Chicago Heights canceled their parade.
So we're looking to have a lot of good traffic over here. So I'd like to also mention right now that was actually completed for me, but actually Gabrielle and Mejia actually just walked into the building. If you guys would like to meet her real quick. Gabby, can I get you to come up to the front center? She's actually one of our oldest novice competition fighters that's actually come out there. And she's actually going to be, so as the background check comes in with the fingerprints, I know that she said some had some problems with that. But we're looking to get it in the right away. She's going to be helping out at the park. I just like you guys to formally meet her. That way you can kind of see who's going to be working in our community center. Also, the other employee, he's not here today, but is that still going to be Marcus that you have set up? The other person? Well, I guess I got a surprise after the meeting, but thank you. You know, we actually missed a picture with her. Would the trustees be willing to stand up one more time to take a single shot with her? That way she can have it for her own memories.
One last thing before we take a picture. My family has decided that we're going to donate the trophies. I won't pay for the trophies, so that's another cost that you don't have to worry about. All right.
I can't find your results.
Trustee, after the parade is over, after people come and get their hot dogs and relax a second or so, we're going to have a brief ceremony on the south side of the Village Hall with the Veterans Memorial over there. Some of the riders will come over there, our VFW vets, American Legion, and any men and women that have served in the military. I'd like to see there as well. And then I'm going to be contacting the Northwest Indiana Times, Southland Voice, some other newspapers, and I'm going to definitely put that out there as well. So hopefully everybody can see that as well. That's all I got.
Looks like we're moving on.
I'd like to give Ed a thanks for those trophies there too. I know you mentioned it, and we really appreciate it. We got a sneak peek, beautiful trophy. So there's 5 levels of competition. I'm also asking any village officials if you want to be one of the judges for the competition, please see me or Ed or Jeff, and we'll be happy to take you on as a judge. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, let's move forward. Discussion of the attendance for the Illinois Legislative Conference.
Mayor, if I may, I believe Trustee Burgess mentioned that he requested this to be on the agenda. Please forgive my typo. The clerk was busy trying to fix them for me. But I believe I went online. It's sometime in October is when the conference is, and it's open for discussion.
I think that's what I saw online. When was it last year?
September. Well, Mayor and Board, this is something that we've been doing for quite a while. As you can see, last year we went and a lot of good things came out. We were able to do a lot of positive things, going down there networking and also talking to the different vendors and also going to the different seminars that are there. I think it was well worth it, so I would like to see if we can
go on and do the same that we did last year. We need to, if we're going to do that, we need to get registered early, so we don't get locked out, so we can be right there where everything is at. I'm not looking for any changes or anything. Everything will stay the same, stay status quo as we've been doing in the past years, and we would also, I just wanted to bring it up and also put it on the agenda for next week to be voted on and voted out, that we do attend the IML.
Comments?
Again, I know it's a cost, but at the same time, the information that was brought back last year, just from last year's conference, you look at some of the things that over the last 4 or 5 months that's coming from the village board, is because of some of the conferences we went to while we were down there, because of meeting vendors. Again, it's also an opportunity to meet with other municipalities, to find out what kind of problems are they facing, which we all know. We found out that most of them are facing the same problems, that we're all having the same problems. Number one problem is money. But how are other municipalities working to resolve those issues? So, again, we were able to bring a lot of stuff back last year. And, I mean, the lightings, there's the street lights. We brought back the, just name some of them. The water insurance policies.
The energy people coming in.
Right.
Do people safeguard for code? I know Trustee Burger just was looking at
Mike's still going to get that.
Yes.
That whole idea. Right. So everything that was brought back last year, you can see some of the things where we've already started to implement. We've also had presentations from those individuals that we were able to meet while we were down there. So the conference alone, the classes and the training is something that every trustee should be involved with if they can. Because I tell you, it's amazing what you can learn. It's amazing that what you think the way it should be and the way it actually is. It's two different things. And I guess if you want to picture it, is when you went to school, you went to English class, and you thought something sounded right, and the teacher said, no, you're wrong, this is the way you're supposed to say it. So, again, the contacts you're able to meet down there, the information we bring back, the cost-saving ideas is unbelievable, just the cost-saving ideas that we brought back this last year. So, I think it's something we really need to consider. I would like to see the schedule. I don't know, I think you said the schedule's not posted yet.
No.
But
I don't know if you got the email today, but it did say that, I know somebody emailed today asking for topic ideas. I actually sent them reply back. But there's some, how we can formulate that. And it's October 18th to the 20th, so it's a whole month later than usual, so.
the topics are usually what's happening right now. And that's what we find that every year we go. We go and sit in these conferences and find out what's going on. It's issues that every municipality is facing right now. So it's a welcome information.
Are we prepared to put it on the agenda for Tuesday? Okay. No problem. All right. Any other questions before we move on? Let's go to number 7, the update of the ordinance review committee. Trustee Myers on the tow ordinance, sign ordinance, and the animal ordinance.
I think, Mr. Mayor, just a couple of things. Okay, couple things. The tow ordinance. A while back, the entire board, we had some problems with the tow ordinance, so we asked that we pull due to the fact that we had an awful lot of litigation, and the attorney asked me not to go too deep in it, but we still have some litigation out there that pertains to the tow ordinance, and the chief asked me also to just mention that the attorney has been involved and he has found out that we asked him to find out what happened, why are we getting all these problems, and so they're supposed to get back to us and inform us. So that is in their hands, and they, my knowledge, I just spoke to Ms. Turner earlier, and they haven't got back to her either. The sign ordinance. Sign ordinance, and we took the sign ordinance. We wanted, first of all, make sure it is in compliance with the new state law that came out last year about political signs. Make sure that we're in compliance with that. Plus, we made an amendment last year on the garage sign, and we also asked if there's some way that we can put some in our sign ordinance that we can collect money on all those signs down 394 Avenue. And he said he found a statute and he found a way to rewrite that and so forth. So that's coming to us. The last one is the animal ordinance. Our ordinance is pretty good. It's spelled out quite a bit. However, I did turn in the Cook County animal control stuff where it spells out everything you have to do in that one. I'll kind of like to see that ours is spelled out too. There's a couple things in there that kind of leaves it wide open. So I did give our attorney the Cook County. I gave him a draft of South Chicago Heights, and I gave him a draft of a couple other towns around. He likes the Cook County one, and he put together a draft, and he told me that he's going to submit it to the manager, and then after that, that she will submit it to us. But there's some things in Cook County that, Mr. Mayor, we should have in ours, and it's not there. But when I get all those back, or Ms. Turner receive any type of information back, I will surely let you guys know about it. And that's about it, sir. Thank you.
We're not close to finalizing these ordinances yet, then?
No, sir, not to my. They said they're working on it. There are a few things they want to do, and before anything goes out, finalize it. You, Mr. Mayor, and the board will know everything about it as soon as I get any information on Matt was the last one I talked to on it, and I did talk to also Secretary briefly today, and they said they will contact you and bring you up to date on everything too, sir. So that's all I have.
Any questions, concerns on this one? Okay. We'll wait for further discussion, information on these ordinances before we move forward. Let's move to number 8, the discussion of the Unison Cell Tower Agreement and the SBA Cell Tower Agreement. It's good, Madam Attorney.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I put these on the agenda after the conversations that we had on the 29th, I thought it was Wednesday, the last special meeting for financing, and Mohan's discussion. I didn't put it again in the packet because you already have the agreement for discussion. I was just looking for direction as to if you wanted it to move forward to the next meeting or how you wanted to proceed, sir.
I think we've had some discussion on it. I know the last time Trustee Hanks had some concerns, but as far as the money that we need that's coming in, I think we should really look at moving forward with the agreement. You know, one of us?
I still have concerns. It's the old, I have the old thought, just sell the farm. You know, we're selling what we have to get money in our hand right now. We're not thinking about the future of Sauk Village moving forward over the next, 10, 20 years. So, again, I am only one trustee on this board, but I do not feel, just based off the information, I did go back home and I read the packet for a few days. I still have concern, and I do not feel that I personally can vote for this to say that, yeah, we're going to get some money in our hand right now, but we're not looking at the future Sauk Village. We're not looking at, right now we have a steady, if you want to call it, steady revenue coming in every year. This cuts that revenue off, and again, we do know that it talks about any future potential customers that they get that put anything on those sites will get a little bit some revenue off of those. But I just, I think we need to really think hard about selling everything we have. Again, I used, for example, Chicago was a perfect example. They're selling everything they have right now. They're selling their about living in the United States of America, they have the opportunity to disagree. So I'm not looking at anyone any different if you go in favor of this. I'm just saying I cannot, based off what I've read and based off the information, be in favor of this.
But trustee, and all due respect, but when you keep saying the word sell, we're not selling it. We're just going with a longer lease at a different amount. We're not selling the tower. We're just going, and right now, we're leasing, I think our lease is up, the last lease was about 40 years, wasn't it? So, I mean, I don't see any different. The only thing we're doing is getting upfront money, and the money that, some of the money that we are getting on a monthly basis is going to not be as much, but that is because we're getting content up front. What we need, we talked about bringing code enforcement and things back, which we already brought them back, but at this point, we have no way of paying them, so that's why we asked the village manager to go out and try to find some way to help subsidize and bring the code enforcement back. So we're not selling our tower, we're just going with a longer lease and getting money up front for it.
No, and I understand that. We're looking at any money up front that will be spent as soon as it hits our hands.
Yeah.
So we're looking at taking, okay, here's a lump sum, which we already know is going to be spent, okay? And we will lose that steady revenue that we're going to be receiving over the years. And we also saw the numbers over the period of time, how much we're actually losing. So again, it's looking at something right now, and I think they have us right now in a situation where it's talking about, we know that we need some money, they were losing money. But if we take a small portion of that money now and we lose a large portion down the road because we put the money right now in it, and how does that affect future boards? And how does that affect our residents going in the future, knowing that we're not going to receive? Because I don't remember, I don't have it in front of me, but it was like over $1 million over a period of time that we will not receive because we're going to take a lump sum now. It's something to really consider.
I think that, like I said, last time we discussed it, we're already looking to transfer our water. These are things that are monthly income to us right now. And when we go to the fishing water, we will no longer have that monthly income that we use so sparingly. And this is another instance where we're not going to have that set of monthly income. We know that we need money on a monthly basis. And as Trustee King said, when that comes in the door, it's going to be sold. It's going to be utilized immediately. And I look back to, for some of the newer trustees and the newer people on the board, look back to when we were at the old building and the development that's right off of Sauk or Sauk Road 34. They came to us for our 4.65 acres or whatever of Sauk Village in Will County, stating that they were just going to have a detention pond. They offered us $10,000 or $15,000 to buy it. We'll just buy it, we're just going to have a detention pond just to make the area look pretty. And we knew better. We said no. They came back to us 2-3 months later and said, oh, well, we decided to make it a gas station. And, for those of us who were on board at the time, we had to take a step back and say, oh, now it's gas city. And sometimes you have to realize, all the glitters is not gold. You have to think a little bit farther ahead. And right now, we still have that foothold in Will County. We can still say we're a part of Will County. That development didn't do anything. They've got coals, and they've got recently culverts, and they've got a whole lot of land in between. We didn't gain anything, but we didn't lose anything either. And that $15,000 that they would have given us is like nothing. It's a tenth of our salary for a pay period. That was nothing. And this $100,000 whatever they're planning on giving us, that's not even a pay period. So it's just really, I think we need to look a little bit closer at this. And I have looked, and I don't think it's going to be.
Anyone else?
Mr. you remember on the contract, I don't quite, didn't they say within 30 days notice we could cancel the contract though? Anytime? You remember?
The 30-day notice is actually stating in reference to SBC, the one that's out here. They can cancel on us in 30 days. We can't cancel on them.
Anyone else?
Again, Mr. Mayor, I know we talked a little bit about this last week, but one other reason I have concerns because we know the wireless industry is expanding. And as we talked about a little bit last week, anyone's coming and willing to give us some money now up front to take these towers away from us, if you want to call that longer leases, at less money to the village, has a plan. It's the only reason businesses would approach the village, I'll give you upfront money, they have to have an ROI, knowing there's going to be return on their investment within a certain amount of time. So that just should give the village forward a red flag to realize if someone's willing to come and give us a lump sum right now, that there is plans for those towers and they are going to make money in Sauk. And that's again, that's solely my opinion.
Anyone else? Then, should we want to put it on there and vote on it? Or you want to let it die? Direction.
I mean, I don't think there's a problem putting down the agenda if it fails.
Right.
Well, you can vote it if it fails and it dies. Or you can wait a little bit, see if you can drum up some more support for it and have it pass. That's only up to you.
I mean, move forward with it. If it dies, it dies. Put it on your agenda. All right, let's move to number 9, updating the code enforcement program. Jazeski.
Ms. Mayor, I wanted to bring Sherry here so that she can give everybody an update on where we are with code enforcement.
Hello. I just kind of threw together a report for you guys to see where you are. Mind you, this is a 5-day report since code enforcement just has been back since Tuesday. One of the inspectors was stuck in the office for a couple days while Amanda's being trained, and water billings had to be done. So this is what I created for you guys, and this is where we're at right now. We haven't made it through the whole entire village. We've ran into some of the houses that people have actually stole the patio doors out of, the windows, and they're wide open, there's squatters living in them. So as we get deeper into it, it's getting uglier. Right now, we're strictly working on inputting vacant homes into the property inside safeguard. I've entered about 60 of them already. I had a little bit of a problem with the program, and I'm going to try it again tomorrow. She was supposed to reset some stuff for me. And we've placed at least 50 calls to properties that had tall grass, and we're working on getting that taken care of. But basically, this is where we're at. Amanda's being trained in the front. She's doing very well. But Cindy had to run water bills Thursday and do reporting Friday, so I had to have Sue in the office. And today, Sue was in my office for about half a day because I don't want to leave Amanda by herself. So this is where we're at.
Trustee Myers.
Sherry, all these citations there would be for June and July court.
These citations will be in July's court.
That's the third week, second.
It's the first Thursday of the month. I think it's the day before 4th of July. Mornings, they don't get court notices, tickets to them. Mornings that we give them X amount of time, like, it depends. Like, a lot of the warnings were for inoperable autos. We've run across some vehicles that are on jacks that are very dangerous. A kid could get crushed by. Naturally, we only give them a day to get those cars off the jacks. Depending on the, how bad it is, that's, the time frame we give them.
Isn't there a basketball ramp on the street ordinance? Did we have something else there? Maybe a vehicle that was allowed
There is an ordinance for kids playing in the street. It's not allowed. I don't write those tickets. I do not handle those. The police officers usually do.
There's a lot of reasons I'd rather do this. There's a lot of reasons out there on the streets, and why don't we keep it clean?
Yeah, I know that if they get, like, I know that the police were ticketing them and then they were removing them after so many, tickets were issued and stuff. Public Works would go pick up the rims. But I don't write those tickets because I ran into a lot of trouble with the kids assaulting my officers and stuff, so I don't do that.
Did we notify the adjudication, the courts that there will probably be an influx of tickets?
Yes, I met with Jacqueline from Giannopoulos' office, and so did Henrietta and the police chief. She's fully aware of code enforcement being back, and she's given us some good ideas and directions with liens. That really needs to be taking place because we're losing out on a lot of money, and we need to start filing liens. And our plan is to have Amanda do those to save us cost instead of going through the village attorney.
The information that I got for you for that, where you Peter said, were you able to do
yes, Mayor, the information you got me was from the past owner. I have that currently in the property inside, hoping that they can track down who's responsible for that. That guy, he's been gone a long time. Right now, that's all I can do. The resident wanted to meet for me to issue him a permit to do the whole porch, and I can't do that because he doesn't own the house next door to him, and it is in bad shape.
So actually, the resident really kind of caught between this conflict because they can't do anything with their side unless.
Yeah, that's correct. The porch is actually caving in, and in order for him to replace his porch, the whole thing really needs to be done all at once. And I can't give him a permit for a house that he doesn't own and we don't own. So I informed them of that, so that's why I put that in property insight. We do have, I don't know how property insight's going to work out, I don't know how fast they are with finding these banks, but that is going to be a major problem that we have with these foreclosures. You call a number, they don't have it, they give you another number, they don't have it. It's just a runaround, and it's really frustrating.
Mr. Mayor, I know the problems you have, and I have the same problem. And if we can run down the property owner, but for instance, the property owner might say, heck with it, he decided to move out of state, and he needed another state, and serving him is what's going to do. So my question is, I thought a while back that we asked, and I believe it, you said we were going to start putting liens on property. Are we still going to do that?
Yeah, I think that's what we're in the process of doing.
Yeah, Henrietta's got some information on how to do those liens, and once Amanda gets trained in the front, Henrietta and I have to meet some more on this, and then we're going to get Amanda. I'm going to probably go with her so we have more than one person that knows how to do this. And we're going to have to start filing liens because we got a lot of outstanding debt.
Basically, it's upstairs next to the mayor's office. And you walk in there and you got the PIN number and you have your form signed by you and notarized by your clerk. You're going to cost of $41.50 accounting, $41 and will. And you put the lien down, and it does wake them up a little bit.
Get your attention for sure.
I mean, and for instance, Friday. Somebody cut a vacant lot over near your house, and my Beverly was out there with a shovel and a broom trying to clean up the mess that they had left. I don't know if you had seen that, but it was a really nightmare. And she came back to the office.
You cut that, didn't you?
It was me.
Right.
You cut that?
Yeah, he didn't want to cut it.
Oh.
It was up in here. It was up. Yeah.
But before I left, I had my kids push all the grass into the yard. I think what happened, I think the kids got out of school.
Yeah,
Like
it was something. It was
and they thought it was a playground.
Well, yeah, that's what we received 10 complaints, phone calls that they didn't know who cut it, and I'm sorry, I'm glad you cut it. We did
They
get,
did the front yard, they did the backyard.
we did get a hold of the person that's responsible for that, and they were supposed to send somebody out that night to fix the mess up and finish cutting the back. I didn't know that was you, but I guess maybe you're right. The kids just pushed everything, and Bev was out there trying to clean it up.
They did come out the next day and bagged up all the grass, took it away, and cut it back and everything. It's looked pretty nice.
Yeah, so this is going to be an ongoing process. I hope you guys, understand that it's going to be a few months before we can get a handle on a lot of this stuff. So, I mean, please, if you have any questions or you've got any concerns, please contact me. I'm always here. I'm pushing really hard for this because our community really needs this. The year and a half that we've been gone, all the years that it took to get where we were, and now we're right back to square one, and we're just running into a lot of problems.
What are we doing with the vacant properties that have high grass, other than trying to contact the banks on the marsh?
Well,
Is that Public Works getting a list?
no. Public Works don't have the manpower to cut them, but what my whole thought was we put the grass bids out, hoping somebody would bid out on some of the grass mowing, and the ones that do not get cut, and that's necessary, we were going to put those on a grass list to be cut by whoever the contractor is, that is awarded that bid. But right now, I'm plugging them into the property insight and hoping that we get some hits on somebody coming out.
Again, I know we're talking about the liens, and if we did have, I know that Kevin's probably pretty full on it here, already looking for a couple extra people. But I guess it's probably something that as a board we need to consider. Do we bring back a couple public works department employees just for handling grass and be able to mow these vacant yards? And again, as far as the lien process, we'll be charging that property back for what it costs us for the employees. Now, we know liens, we won't get the money back right away. However, sooner or later, we'll end up getting it. I think it's probably something that we should probably really seriously think about. If we just, especially for the summer months for sure, and I'm sure there's Kevin would probably have enough work to keep two people working probably full time, but this grass between the rain we've had recently, the hot weather, and then the rain again, the grass is just shooting up, and it's the grass in some of these yards are already seeded. So,
Well, and another thing that the board really should really think about getting in place is the vacant registry. That's where they have got to register with us. They pay a fee, whatever it is, $50, whatever per house, and then we know when they register, we know who they are. That's what you run into. Wells Fargo has it, they don't have it. Fannie Mae has it, they don't have it anymore. So it's a downhill cycle, and you guys can drive around and look and see what's going on. I mean, we have a big problem out there.
Where I know at one time we had talked about the bid and getting someone to helm the vacant lots and things like that. And I believe there was some application or something turned in. So where are we? How many did?
Yeah, I don't know how many people have picked up a bid packet, but I did, as Henrietta requested, have it put in the paper, and I had put the bid packets together, and they're at the front. I believe we said they have till next Tuesday, and then to turn them in, and then you guys can open them and see what they're going to charge us. I know last year, Henrietta wasn't here. It was Dick and I who sat and opened the bids, but we were late in the season, and it was $100 a lot. And it was really expensive, and then the board decided, let's just not do it. So that's totally up to you.
Do you know have anyone turned in anything?
We haven't received any back. I don't know how many has been handed out. I really can't answer that.
I'd also like to see if Kevin put something together for us too, for his department to say, if I brought in this many individuals to the grass, how much would it cost the village? And based off working with Sherry, how many yards do we have? How many vacant properties? Again, and it's something the village board and the village manager have to decide how much do we need these properties for.
I mean,
They are Kevin's guys, be the one that would have to call back on the ones that we have now, are all union employees. And so there's a union fee per hour
always worked well together. We work hand in hand. So if we see something, we'll report it to Kevin. Same thing with ticketing with cars on the street when they need them moved and stuff. But with that grass, if Public Works, if that's the route the village is going to take, my suggestion would be $100 a lot, period. Because some of these grasses are waist deep, they're full of debris, it's just horrible.
Trustee Baker.
First of all, Chair, I'd like to say, I've been right around the gas, really willing to get out. I know some people probably, they have to do whatever, they start to do things, things start going in a positive direction. But I do have a question, and I don't know if this may be something that, we can also look at. Can we use the people that's in public works and create what you call overtime? Utilize the same people that we have, and maybe on Saturdays, they can come in overtime. That would probably alleviate us actually hiring someone. We have a crew there that's on Saturdays that would do X amount of yards, and they would be part of that task force or whatever that would go around on Saturdays and cut grass for 8 hours or whatever. Give the existing guys, if we cannot afford to bring this right here, this would take care of something right now. This would happen right now. This would have to wait until we hire someone back, go through that process. In an overtime day, if we have these other work guys come out, find out how many we would need to make it, make it feasible that we can get these guys in. They would do this work on Saturday, which would be their overtime. They use our equipment. We don't have to hire right now. And then once we get these things going and we start collecting this money, then we can see, okay, the money's coming in from the yards, we're going to cut. Then we can hire from that point on. But at least we don't have to cut the yards cut, and we don't have to go out waiting until next month.
Yeah, why would don't call me?
Now, I wish that, we could probably look at something like that. I'm sure those numbers would come in, but even at overtime, it would be cheaper. Bring it back and have to pay, right now, have to pay benefits and everything. And that would give us a chance to collect the money from the places or from the different homes that we have to collect the money from.
Well, that's a good idea, but why don't we wait to see what kind of grass bids we get in and see the cost of them and see if it's workable? I don't know, that's totally up to Kevin to find out if, how much that's going to cost the village, if it's beneficial.
It might be cheaper right now, at least the police, half and a half, 8 hours, maybe 4 guys, maybe 5 guys, whatever it is. Doing it maybe the first 2-3 weeks, and they shut it down in the meantime. We still do the bid, but at least we're doing something, we're actually doing something right now. Because this is June. If we wait for the bid in July, if they start cutting it off, and I can talk about the rest of it here, it's not here.
Kevin, maybe to that suggestion, maybe can you get something to that effect to see what it will cost for an overtime day? Say for Saturday, maybe 4 of your guys to come back and just cut grass for 8 hours. Approximately how many yards they will probably cut. Can you maybe get us a cost on something like that? Well, okay. Maybe have it for us next week. Anything else, guys? Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, okay. Let's move to the number 10, the board of services.
I'm meeting, Chair, now I'm meeting with the board of service,
Rich Construction.
on Monday to go over his invoices, because he still has outstanding invoices, so, yes, sir, he does. And we did a trustee line review, we're going through it again, and the clerk, we found some minutes, he claims he still has invoices.
Well, I went through and did a spreadsheet on Rich Construction, and he was paid $15,000. He sent us some houses the other day, and it come out to like $8,000, and more than half of them have been already paid. So I don't know where he's getting those numbers. We can talk to him. He has a terrible bookkeeping system, and I'm not his bill collector, and that's the biggest problem with John. I had to have him go and invoice like give us numbers on invoices so he could keep track, because they do not keep track really well. And there's no way that we owe them $8,000. Maybe $2,000, $3,000 at the tops. He boarded up stuff that people own. I don't feel that the village should be paying for that. I mean, Rich Construction's reliable, and he's a good guy. He came out for me on 4 emergency board-ups this week, but he has got a terrible office system.
I was part of the team that Sam, myself, Sherry, we had almost over $22,000 when we first turned in. We went through every invoice. We found some that paid, we found some that didn't even exist, we found duplicates, and we narrowed it down. Then we presented it back to him. He came back and said, okay, fine, 18,000. And he came back and gave me 15 because that's it. Well, we paid him, my understanding, we paid him 15. And that's my last understanding of who we were up to date. Now, I thought we issued an order only in an emergency situation, such as a fire. I know for 2 fires we had here. That's it. I don't know.
Well, we even got a bill for the house on Brookwood that had the murders. That should have went to an insurance company, not us. Why aren't we paying for board-ups for properties that have owners on them? I mean, there's so many houses open from the street, the doors are wide open, and nothing has been done with them. God knows, I'm surprised we haven't had more fires than we have had. I don't know. I think that we really need to just put it out, go for bids, something. I don't think Rich Construction should be locked into anything, because I really think that he definitely does have an office invoice problem. He was sending me invoices when I punched the address up on the computer. We have rental properties owners. The police department should have called the owners and said, you got till 5 o'clock to secure the home, or we're going to have it boarded up and you're going to get the bill. And that was not happening. Rich just assumed I was going to be his bill collector. When I found invoices like that, I filled them out with the owner's information on it, with their phone numbers, and faxed it back to Rich and said, we will not be paying this. And then he couldn't get payment for him because, but that's not my problem. This should be strictly for foreclosures that are wide open. That should be what the board-ups are for. Fires, they always handle that and do a good job of that. They don't have a contract. No. They used to be the board-up company. I don't know. I'll look for you.
How many years ago?
I can take a look for you, but I haven't actually seen a contract for them. Yeah, yeah. And I have the layout. Mike went through everything, and I have everything that's been paid. And there's wrong addresses on there. There's duplicates. There's already invoices that we've already paid, some of them. Rich does give the village a 35% discount on board-ups. I don't know what we can do, but I really think that we need to move forward, because we're going to be running into more and more of this.
Do we continue to use him as our emergency service and then move forward with the bid?
Yeah, we're meeting with him Monday to discuss. Yeah, we're meeting with him Monday to discuss this invoice issue with him.
Mr. Mayor, only thing I request is to make sure they have all the proper credentials, like the insurance from the state, the bond from the state, and make sure they have all their stuff, and they have to full license with the village if they're accepted.
quick as possible. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, let's move to number 11. The update of the fleet maintenance and the report.
All set. Basically, the discussion at one of the board meetings was how can we get each vehicle and get some type of a system going to do some mileage and some condition checks of the vehicles. So I have a spreadsheet that I've been using for years for vehicles. I turned over to the village manager. She put some suggestions in there, and I believe this will work for each department, and she'll be able to keep track, and then however far you want to take this, at least to start off with.
I see the description you used, but
It's part of the spreadsheet.
mileage and condition goes
So you know the condition of some of them.
so right now you don't have the mileage.
No, we wanted some way to put it all in the system so everybody would have every vehicle they have, so they know they got every one of them. This is a current sheet from the insurance company that we turn into the insurance company, so we know they're all our current vehicles. And now we'll get all the mileages and the condition check and we'll do some type of rating
So
system.
how to do it every month?
That would be up to each department, whoever they designate to do that.
We kind of get an idea what the using and what.
This way here you have a description of each vehicle, the age, and kind of where it's going from there.
So in other words, we'll get a mileage reading this time next month. I'm sorry, we get a mileage reading now. And then this time next month, we get another.
If that's the way you want to go. Okay, that work?
So pretty much all of the vehicles operable, they're workable.
Oh, yeah, everything on here is insurance, movable, so everything is drivable as being used. Maybe not quite, there might be some questionable ones, but 1990, that's a jet vacuum truck that's named for it. It's the big back truck. We bought it used. We don't use it that often, so it's why spend $400,000 on a truck when you can get one for $25,000 used.
Are you still doing maintenance?
Yes, we do as much as we can, basically oil changes and small miscellaneous stuff. Street sweepers on the bottom, actually is it on this sheet? First, actually we're going to call that a piece of equipment, so it'll be in the equipment sheet, it won't be on the street sweeper. It's an hourly thing, it doesn't have a mileage yet, it'll be on the equipment sheet.
Mr. What condition is that jet vacuum truck?
I would say we wouldn't use it every day, but if we needed to use it, we can. So it's in good condition for usage, but not, I would say it wouldn't be what we take out every day every time we use it. Yes. Yes, we do. That's for vacuuming sewers out. You have to have sewer jets for jetting out the pipes.
Now you keeping this step van?
No, I'm sorry. I noticed that too. That is a vehicle. That's the one I discussed a while back, but it's completely dead, and we did budget for a replacement.
Display something.
Yeah, it's completely dead. That's the main.
All right.
Now, who we get the report from?
Well, you're going to give the report, put the information in. All right, thank you, sir. Let's move on to the discussion of the Memorial Brick Program, Beautification Committee. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? The Beautification Committee endeavored to clean the memorial during Memorial Day weekend, and we weeded it, and we sprayed herbicides in each brick by brick around each and every curve. Had an opportunity, though, to look at the names and all of the people who were being celebrated with the memorial brick. And I thought, oh, this was a nice program. And I've mentioned it to a couple of people since then. It seems, though, that the program may be on hold with regards to extending the services to residents of the village who have members of their family or other loved ones who are deceased or have been deceased over the last few years. So, you know me and the committee, who's always looking for a way to fundraise. So we thought that we could reintroduce the program and that we would administer the program and any of the proceeds would go to the beautification committee. And that's why we are before you today to ask if we can resurrect that program. Since I've looked at it and I had that thought, I have mentioned it to a few people and they were very, very interested in securing a brick. So.
Kevin, the last time we installed bricks, was it done by your department? Yes. Right, I have to make sure it was an outside source, it was done right.
So right now, currently, by taking on this project, there'll be no cost to the village. The cost will be from the village resident or whoever purchasing the brick that will pay for the brick, and any additional cost will go to the beautification.
Exactly. There will be no expectations from or support required from the village other than, you know, a letter maybe going out on a letterhead or something along that line. But in terms of overall administration, beautification committee is prepared to take that on.
Is the beautification committee prepared to replace the bricks, or will you be looking for public works to assist you in that?
Oh. We would want public works to do that. Yes. Yes, usually the bricks are engraved. Well, we would not do it, we would use a company to do so. And we could go two different ways. We could ship them one of our bricks, and then they would do a matchup of the brick. Or we could ship them, and then they would just charge us for the brick and the engraving. Or we could ship them the actual bricks that we have, and they would engrave them and ship them back as well. So there's, you know, I've not looked at the cost that's involved, and so therefore I don't have a comparative statement for you in terms of which way would be the most feasible way to proceed.
I don't have price cost, but we took some bricks out to replace some names, and we got some later on. So we do have some bricks that there's nothing on them. So as we're swapping them out, if you don't get a lot right off, you can swap them out, you turn them over, but you have the brick. So you save it on the brick. The cost of ship might be whatever.
Wonderful.
When this program started, was it the 50th anniversary committee or this year? After the 50th, did it go to the senior committee or was it all for the fund? After the 50th anniversary.
The cost of the bricks were strictly the cost that, you know, paid for the bricks. And we had to order so many bricks for so much.
Right.
But since we have extra bricks, you need to check on the cost
if someone could point me in the direction of the company that was used, once, I don't know if this needs to go to vote at the board meeting or if we can proceed onward. Thank you.
Okay, let's move to public comments.
Yes.
Bernice Brewer, Houston. If you haven't heard by now, the Sauk Village Water Referendum Committee has filed a class action lawsuit on behalf of those 800 petitioners who signed a petition back in January of 2011. You may remember this is the same petition that Trustee Hanks and Village Clerk Debbie Williams voted against. Just to give you some information, this lawsuit alleges that since May of 2006, residents were charged a higher rate for the sole purpose of establishing a debt fund for the repair and maintenance of the wells. Well, we all know that didn't happen. So again, I'm asking what happened to the people's money. Included in this lawsuit is the names of residents who have talked to Kevin, Public Works, and other trustees and provided us with samples of water with fecal matter. I know all of these questions that you have provided the names. I want to know how come these board members, that you guys have been served, have not told people where these places are located. And to bring my question to, bring this to question 3, last week Kevin indicated that there was no problem with well 1. This is not true. Well 1, according to January's statistics, is 1.14 that exceeded the 50% threshold. Also, again in April, it exceeded again the MCL, and it was 1.06. My question to you, Mr. Mayor, is why is this head of the Public Works giving out false information? Also, I have been notified that the Illinois EPA inspector was refused interest into testing the water. I want to know who gave him authorization to refuse an Illinois government official from testing water. I know that Robinson Engineering and also the trustees and also the attorneys don't have that authority. So I want to know who gave them authority to turn back a government official from testing water. And I want to know why this board is so geared to putting the health and safety of an entire town at risk by letting the inspector come out and give some testing on water. What is the problem?
Okay, as far as refusing the IEPA permission to test the water, no one refused. They are coming out. They will be coming out June 19th, I believe they will be coming out. June 12th. At the time, they didn't refuse them from coming out. They just asked for more information before they were given the right to come out and test our well. They were requesting information from them. They didn't refuse them from testing.
They refused? Who was they?
No one refused the IEPA personnel from testing the well.
Okay.
What they refused, what they asked that person to do is to provide the village with information saying that, and qualification and those type of things. The IEPA didn't have a problem with that. They submitted the letter. They'll be out on the 12th to start testing.
Okay, can you explain to me why this misinformation was given out? January, they had the well 1 had exceeded the threshold, the 50% threshold. It was like 1.14, and also in April, it also a test again high, it exceeded the MCL at 1.06. So I want to know why Kevin believes that this is not a problem with well 1.
Kevin?
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think that we've all been addressed by our attorney that this is either a litigation, so therefore we should not be engaging in conversation back and forth. Well, I'm sure for our record.
Is this
there's no gag ordinance from the courts to say we can't talk about it. And if the citizens want to know, and if they're looking for answers, we have an obligation to those citizens to give them answers. So until a court order comes down from the court saying that we can't talk about it, we can talk about it, and we should talk about it.
Everyone on this board should have received an email from the village attorneys advising the village board not to discuss this issue, especially with Ms. Houston, because Ms. Houston is suing this village and its residents. So, again, as any other case, you wouldn't take the person that's suing you and provide information to help their case on a case that they're suing the village residents. So we have been advised not to talk about this, and I think the trustees should have all received that email from our village attorneys. And I, for one, am going to heed the advice of our village attorneys.
Let me correct you something on Trustee Hanks. I am not suing the village. I am on the committee who's suing the village for something you guys have caused for the last 55 years. You have supplied the residents with contaminated water, and you expect us to pay for it. We want you to find out what's going on. We want to know what happened to our money.
For the record, I'm not 55, so.
I didn't say you're 55. I said you have been supplying the village for 55 years. Contaminated water. We want to know what happened to our money. Nobody gave me an answer to anything.
The information that was the false information, I'm not sure what false information that was referred to, because of the fact that the village attorney did say that we have to be limited on what we say because of the litigation. So I would direct that question to the attorney and put it in writing and direct it to the attorney.
So he'll address me next week. I'll get an answer next week, right? Is that what you told me?
I'm not sure when he would answer, saying give him your question, and you could be able to ask the question. You may be able to call him up. He may be able to give you the information inside that meeting. But give him the question, direct the question to the village attorney.
Will do, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sid Harris. I live on 217 Place. My issue is I got a tree in the front of my house. My family was sitting up under the tree. Limb fell from the tree, hit my daughter in the top of her head and busted her head and knocked her out of the chair. I called it in, reported it. It's been 11 days. The tree has not been cut yet. I got $110,000 worth of cars in that driveway. I get up in the morning, debris is on the top of my cars. This is what I want the village to know. I'm not going to drive no scratched up cars, some that the village is responsible for. This is what I don't want to do. Y'all holler about these lawsuits. Sometimes y'all bring stuff on yourself because you can take 35 or 40 minutes to come out and trim these trees, and you won't have to have no lawsuit. But I'm telling you now, if anything happened to my cars, I don't want them no more. They belong to the village.
Share a little bit with the trustees about where we are with this, because we spoke with Mr. Harris about the incident, and I think Ms. Baldwin also spoke with him.
That's the act. I just
we did speak with Kevin about the issue, and I agree Kevin is.
I did receive a police report on the insurance company and the issue that happened on
I did receive the complaint. I did send a copy and the police report and forwarded to our insurance company. I sent over code enforcement to take pictures of the tree, just for information. The tree is a village tree because it's in the parkway. Also, I received several complaints in the neighborhood. We've sent over other things, and I spoke with Kevin today. Today was his first day back, so that we can see about scheduling a crew to address that tree. My concern with that tree and any other tree is that there is emerald ash board out there, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't because of that. That tree is not diseased, it's just overgrown. It's not dead, even though we do have some other dead trees in town, but that tree does not have that issue. Or a tree, I believe, on the next block. But we have some pictures, we just investigated that, and we're hoping that we can get that tree removed as soon as possible. I think today was Kevin's first day, but we have turned it over to the insurance company because it is a tree that's in our parkway. And just anybody else wants to go out there for the community, the sidewalk is kind of like the dividing line. Sidewalk on your house is your tree, sidewalk on the street side is a village tree.
Comments?
Excuse me, can I say one more thing? And I just want you to know, Calvin came out, he was very courteous, and he said that it will be taken care of. But what I'm saying, school kids catch the bus under that tree. Under that tree, 20 kids catch the bus every day up under that same tree. So something can happen to them, so y'all need to get on.
We will get on it. We're working very diligently to make sure that we get this problem. Anyone? Yes, sir.
Martha Campbell Pruitt speaking on behalf of the Beautification Committee, providing updates. This is Clean, Green, and Preen Week, and I'm hoping that if you've already had garbage pickup this week, that you have used this time as an opportunity to clean out your garages, clean out your basements, and also clean your lawns, because you are able to put out more items than ever before, and there's no extra charge even for your waste materials. If you have not experienced your trash pickup day, then know that you still have time, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, to set out a boatload of stuff so that you can clean and preen your home. But then at that same time, we really, really want you to come out June 9th. We need 50 volunteers to clean the village. And boy, do we have a list of things for you to do. We're really hoping to be able to see each and every one of you, your family and your friends, out to assist us at 8:30 right at Welch Memorial Park. You'll get your marching orders there. We'll come back here. We'll provide lunch for you, and then you can enjoy the rest of your day. Last thing I want to talk about another minute. Next Saturday, the 16th, is the community yard sale. For $15, you can get a space 10 by 10 to sell any of that stuff that you cleaned up and cleaned out, that you found, and it was like, oh, I don't want to throw this away, but you know that it may be somebody else's treasure. Bring it out there. We're going to be right under the marquee. You can sell it there. And or if you are one of those people who really like garage sales, we ask that you still come out and visit the vendors. You can sell whatever you want that is legal. Okay? $15. We'll be out there from 9 o'clock to 5. We hope to see you there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mr. Moorhead, just moved out there, and I was wondering, how do we go about getting a stop sign on 222nd Street and there in Jeffrey? There's the corner there is very dangerous. There isn't a stop sign there. Kids catch the bus there going to school, and there's been several accidents. It was just one there last weekend. What? Very bad accident. And there's no stop sign there. So
it's a yield sign. It's just
a yield sign on one side with no stop sign.
What we have done in the past is allow the police department to do some type have a study and see is it something that the village needs to come up with a stop sign.
Get the village map.
222nd place in Jeffrey. Yes. My other question is, there's sidewalks in front of my home. We just bought this home. They're sunk down, and the water just sits in my front yard now. What do we say about that? I've reported it.
We have a construction program that
No, you can turn in your address.
I did.
We'll put you on the list, and pretty much with the funds that we have available, they look at the worst case scenarios, and those are taken care of first. The village has also talked about maybe a 50-50 program, where the village resident wanted to go 50%, the village would put 50% and repair those sections. But we haven't gone anywhere with that program yet. Because I think the lawyers are taking it back to look at insurance and that kind of stuff. Right, there's no money available in the funds either.
Excuse me. Hi, how are you doing? It's very serious. It's to the point where I can't get into my home. I have to have boots on, literally. I fell and I scarred my knee. That's the only way to put a ticket in. But I literally can't get in my home when it rains. Not just the sidewalk, but the actual grass has a hump going in where it's nothing. I can't even have the next door neighbor to come by. If there was an emergency, you would literally have to have boots. It's really serious. Someone needs to really come out and take a look at that.
the address is 228.
It's 1805 222nd place. Thank you so much.
Sitting too long. I just wanted to make one comment. We have a village ordinance says it is not just Welch Park. It is a shared park with Veterans Memorial / Welch Park. I'm hearing the Parks and Recreation and Beautification Committee have not said anything, but it's going on, and I would like to have that sign changed from Albert Welch Park to Veterans Memorial / Welch Park, and have it properly named and advertised. I know it is a sore spot with me. I also want to mention that we have a Monday movie, June 11th, and we've changed the date from 1 o'clock to 12:30, and they're asking, the resident asked for it because they're going to be brown bagging it. I also want to mention that the ceramic, which meets on Wednesday from 8 to 11, they have wanted to extend the hours to the odd Wednesday, probably the 1st, 3rd, and 5th if there is one. And they're going to have ceramics from 3 to 5 for anyone that's interested. I am a little concerned that we talked about the money coming in, and a lot of times you spend it. I know we're still concerned with the $499,000 that we received overpayment from Cook County that we yet haven't had money to pay it back. I know it's what they talked about, maybe $10,000 or $25,000 quarterly payment, and yet we're trying to get something right away, thinking that you get a one-time money and then don't worry about the future. So, and then as Ms. Williams stated, that once we get Lake Michigan water, we will lose our water fund. Thank you.
Good evening, Linda Washington, 225th Place. I really wanted to ask a question because we have begun to really accelerate the block club program in the village, and I've been getting a lot of different information from people in regard to other municipalities, and I just want to know for clarity so that when I'm talking I can intelligently articulate with people in regard to the status of renters and different other low-income properties that's rented out. It was said to me by someone that lives in a neighboring town that have relatives that live in Sauk, but we were knocking on doors this week, that that particular municipality has a cap on, I think, Section 8 housing, that they don't allow anyone else in this particular municipality around us to move in that's on Section 8, and those that are on Section 8, they're not going to be renewing their leases once they expire. So Sauk Village, I don't know if we have a cap on Section 8 or renters or any other kind of housing program. I just want to know, in lieu of all of the break-ins that's been going on, people have been literally showing me patio doors, and I talked to one homeowner that has 3 homes in Sauk Village and some other municipalities, and he said, I want you to come and see this. They broke in his house, that's vacant, took out the furnace, the water heater, took out the faucets, took out the copper, something he was trying to explain to me. He said, this is what they're doing to my homes in Sauk Village. And this is because in the other town, they have a cap on blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, well, I don't really know about that part, but I will ask when I go to the next village hall meeting if we do have some kind of cap on housing or renters or Section 8 in Sauk Village.
First of all, we adopt home rule. So we cannot make that type of demand. Those are home rule. If someone is able to do that, which I really don't know if they are, that's a home rule, number one. Number two, we're not allowed to ask a person if they're on Section 8. As a village, we can't ask that question. We cannot ask, are you renting to Section 8? Because what they do, they have the people that are renting to Section 8 or whatever, that they're the homeowner. What they do, they're renting out. Now, the Section 8 or whatever, the village cannot get involved. So therefore, we cannot put a ceiling, a cap, or anything on Section 8 housing. Sauk Village, we can't do that. But like I said again, we're not home rule. Home rule can pretty much do what they want if they're home rule. But we're not home rule. So, and it is against the law to ask a person if you're Section 8, if you're moving in. If they're coming into the village and they're getting their water cut on, our employees or anyone else cannot ask, are you a Section 8 home? Or you're a Section 8 person? No, we can't ask that question.
Okay, I just wanted to reiterate that I am not biased toward anyone, but when you're in the community talking to people, you have to be able to give them good information. You have to be able to give them accurate information. One town that they did mention was Fort Heights. This person lives in Fort Heights. They said, my daughter lives in Fort Heights, and it's time for her to renew, and they're not going to renew her Section 8. So we're looking at some homes in Sauk Village and Country Club Hills and some other places because they're not going to renew. I said, oh, when did that happen? So I don't know. So when I don't know something, I believe in asking so that I can know. So I just appreciate that answer. And I want to also say we're going to have our next Block Club meeting, as I'm sure Trustee Myers will put in his report, coming up very shortly. And it's really, really catching on because people are just so tired of having their homes broken into while they're there, broken into when they run to the store to just come back, and they're stealing faucets and furnaces and just anything that's not nailed down, they're taking it, they're stealing for $10 or $100. They're even stealing water hoses out the yard. I'm like, oh my God. So they really want to know what can they do to get cameras on their property in the front, cameras in their back. You can get a camera on your property while you're away. You can see your home. So that's awesome. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'm Francine Anderson, and I'm at 1606 216th Street. Again, I would like to publicly thank Mr. Holcomb because that's how I was able to keep up with the meetings in my absence. I have a few things I have questions about, and hopefully I can be able to get some answers tonight. Most of them are not pertaining to your agenda for today. I do have one for today's agenda, and that is, I understand that we, under discussion number 5, you're having an Independence Day parade and celebration. I might have missed the conversation, but I would like to know what is the cost or the projected cost. And I understood that Mr. Myers, I did hear him say that he was donating the trophies. So the other part I would like to have is the cost. For my other 2 questions, or 3 or 4 that I might have for tonight, is that I understand why I was gone
one of the meetings that I did watch on YouTube was that you gave the village manager a very hard time about finding funds for water. I would like to say to the trustees that if you're going to give the village manager a difficult time about trying to find some funding to make sure we get the water, then you need to also be looking yourself. To me, the discussion that I saw was centered around water. Maybe I didn't perceive it right. I don't know. But if so, to my understanding, the application was presented and there was no funds delivered because of the lateness of the application. I would like to have some more clarity about what was done to the village manager because I wasn't clear about what your decision was. And I'm not sure I agree with it or not until I do understand better. Thirdly, I also understand from someone else in my community, one of my neighbors reported to me that the village clerk was given a $57 reimbursement for treating some volunteers to lunch when we all went down to the courts for the village manager's case. Is that not true, Mr. Mayor? One of my neighbors told me about it.
There was a court case that I believe was the village manager and the village chief of police. I believe the reason that the village clerk was asked, and in fact I questioned it myself, and the village clerk said to me that the village attorney requested her presence because that she was going to maybe have to testify at that court.
What my neighbor said that the money was for volunteers, and I wanted to know why other volunteers got lunch and I didn't. I was present.
But I'm just telling you.
It wasn't an issue? I mean, if all of the volunteers got lunch, why didn't I get lunch? Well, let's just make sure that when you spread the news in the community, you spread it properly.
Well, it's my understanding she got reimbursed for parking. The luncheon card was something that had to do with the
That was for the Sauk House in January. When the Sauk House was stolen from this building, and we
You
had to
spend my time while y'all talking. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Are you sure?
Sure.
That money for the lunch, two separate items. Number one, the lunch had to be that was when the Sauk House was stolen, and they had to be reprinted, recopied, refolded, re-tabbed, and re-separated. At that point in time, the village clerk asked me, I believe it was, 6 volunteers to come in and participate in the recopying and all that. At that point in time, she did ask. They took time out of their busy schedule, 8 hours apiece, to do all this. The village clerk took the time to thank them with Little Caesars pizzas. That was back in January. What this is talking about, and that was $25. What this $57 was parking downtown at the request of our village attorney to hear. So that's 2 different things. That $25 was on accounts payable months ago. So it wouldn't have been like you were gone this last time.
Well, my neighbors talked about it to me when I got back, so I can talk to you when I know. But that did not answer my question. So the question is, so I have some clarity, was that you're saying that the monies were not expended because someone was treated to lunch. Because of the lawsuit, they were treated to lunch because they helped to do the Sauk. So that's what the volunteers was. But on the day that we went to court, you were reimbursed for parking. Okay. Mr. Mayor, next time, can we make sure that the attorney pays that $57 or whatever he's doing if they have to be downtown? Because I was downtown, he didn't pay my part.
Well, Mr. Mayor, that's the question. If the law firm asks us to come down for their benefit, then the law firm should have paid that $57, not the village. So why is the village paying for her to come down and testify against the village? If that's the case. The law firm needs to reimburse the village back because again, they requested her down there for their benefit, then they should pay her, not the village taxpayers.
I think that if it's a consensus issue, maybe we should submit a bill to the law firm for the $57 payment that was paid, that we had to pay for the parking, since they, our village attorney, one who was fighting the case for the village, since they requested a witness to possibly testify. If we feel we could give them that money, they need to pay that, that's absolutely fine. I would not doubt, however, that it will come back to us in their expenditures. Anything that they have to pay out of their pocket that's village related, like a parking ticket, like a parking fee, or anything else that's for a lawsuit that's for the village, which we are their clients, will come back to a bill. But I have no problem pushing page. So if the village board consensus is to send them a letter and say, we had to pay out this $57, we expect you to reimburse us, I would just encourage us to look at the next bill for the legal firm, because they will put that out. It'll just be a swap of checks.
Okay, first of all, let's call and listen to your neighbors, but I'm glad you came to the village board and service.
Oh, I will continue to listen.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. On that particular day, I lost 6 hours worth of work that I did not charge the village for. And when the village manager and most other employees go to the bank, go on a 2-hour trip somewhere, they get time and miles. I didn't charge that. So I think just turning in a parking slip, I think I took care of the village pretty well. All I did charge was for the parking. I didn't charge for the 6 hours of work I lost, and I didn't charge for my time and miles. And as far as you keep lumping those two together, they're two separate instances on two separate dates that have nothing to do with each other. That's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, for my other 5 seconds, I would like to know how the village is paying for code enforcement.
At this point, we really don't know because the village is saying that we don't have money. So at this time, we don't know. But what I had suggested and asked the village manager to do was to go out and see can we find money. And that's what she did by bringing in the cell towers and releasing them, our cell towers, and getting some upfront money to try to help offset the cost of bringing the two code enforcement back. But right now, we don't know. We don't have money. We're just going to have to try to pay as we go for the code enforcement. We didn't budget for the code.
That's right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Although y'all took my extra minute.
I don't think you got your question about the
parade
costs.
The parade costs, yes, sir.
Projected cost is going to be, obviously, Mayor, right now we're spending $425 on porta potties. 50% of that was cut off. It was going to be 1,000 something, but they gave services to us. So it's down to $425. As far as projected cost right now, it will increase as we get closer to the celebration. The parade itself is not really going to cost anything other than some signatures here. As trophies was a donation, so the parade itself really doesn't cost anything. We're not even charging people to actually go in the parade. The actual festivities that have porta potties for people there is actually going to be a projected cost. Providing some entertainment as far as like music may cost. We're getting a few quotes in our committee right now for that. Donations are coming in, which offsets the cost. Also, that we're going to be selling and vending food will also offset the cost. So, I mean, you're looking to see maybe after for me to give you an accurate number. It's like the corn and dog roast, pretty much. I mean, I can tell you how much I'm going to spend on corn and stuff, but then when I make the money back, we actually come out ahead versus behind. I'm hoping to do the same for the parade and the festivities. We are not spending any money on fireworks, so that is not going to be a projected cost. That's going to cost us extensively. So whatever we spend this time around will be no different than a corn and dog roll, I would estimate.
And sir, I'm sorry, how much is that?
Corn and dog roll didn't go past $600 last year, but I'm looking maybe just a little bit for the DJ to have music so they can have the ceremony, some music. Skyline Disposal donated what we were going to pay for waste being taken away. They're going to put out cans out there for free, so we're not even paying for that. So we're really looking at any cost savings. I mean, I don't really try to project anything over 1,000, but with the incoming sales back, I can't really figure how much it's going to go down. It may go down to the plus versus the negative. So I can't really, give you an accurate number per se, but I can tell you right now, we're at $425 with the porta potties. $25 donation came in from all states, so that brings you back down to $400. So I mean, I don't know how many more donations we're going to get in. So I can't really give you an accurate number, Mr. Anderson. I'm sorry on that, but I'll try to do better right after the actual event to give you a status quo.
Let me ask you this: if the employees that they volunteer, that's not every employee.
Well, I'm hoping that the letter if you put out will inject it. Yeah, I know the fire department has. Is that going to be more just volunteer time as far as, or is it just going to be a PLC call?
Our department will volunteer time. And
we're hoping everybody's on board. We're hoping that the chief's on board since he's salary, that he'd be on board to give us some free time on that too. If we're going to have to pay for extra police, which I don't see happening because I was going to have to do some patrols in the park to make sure that the number, you can tell by the volume if it's going to be heavy or not. Now, if you think we may need 1 or 2 officers on standby, and you can do that. I know Buzz always puts the ambulance by us if we need a call. They're going to be there. This is not even going to be bigger than the circuit that we had, which we had Buzz there. So like I'm saying, I mean, a lot of cutting corners. We're hoping everybody's on board. Do the best that we can to save money for the village. We're also going to be producing some revenue from the, the dunk machine where you're dumping your elected official, and we're going to be selling our food, and we're also going to be having vendors come out, rent out spots, and sell their food. The movie we don't plan to start, but we'll sell the popcorn. So I mean, you're looking at numbers that are bouncing back and forth versus cost and revenue. So I can't really give you an accurate number. I know right now the porta potty is going to cost us $425, but we just got $25 donations from all states, and I believe Jeff has a few other donations that are coming in. I mean, Skyline Disposal gave us all their services free. If you want to count that as an intake plus, I mean, I don't know how much that tallies out to, but the $600 we saved from the porta potty, it's a savings right there already. If you want to add that in, I mean, you're playing with numbers. I can't give you an accurate number until the event is actually to the point of complete. We can't take any more. We're ready to go.
I think we need to look at least a projection on paper of what the rate is going to cost.
My cost, I'm not looking to go anything over $1,500. I'm going to try to keep it under, of course.
I think we need to do a printout of projection of what each step, of what each department, of what each cost is going to cost, and have it laid out so we all can be able to see that.
If there is any cost, then I would need the village manager to find out how much that individual that's going to be brought in for extra overtime, or what that's going to cost if you're going to bring it to PD. It's actually a call on your part if you want to bring it in. I don't see the need, because we'll have heads up there patrolling the ground, patrolling traffic. Fire department will be there. I mean, we ran parades before.
How many numbers? I'm just looking at as for security purpose. How many do we have? How many do we have a number? Do we have a number? How many do we plan to have all day?
Normally when we have a function goes on in this town, any other town on the south side, the residents the emergency personnel in the South Suburb, and they all come out free of charge to assist us. In the past, as we go down, they shut down the streets. As we go past them, they'll open the streets up, and we keep traffic. We never bottleneck the entire town at any time. As soon as we get past Jeffrey, open up the north side. As soon as we get past Cornell and the 221st, we open that side. The town will never be able. No one in the entire town will be total bottlenecked at any given time.
We got no commitment, reach out to make sure we got it.
Oh yes, I've already talked to the chairperson of the Emergency Services Disaster the board, and he has rest assured that Mr. Johnson will receive all the assistance he needs to pull this thing off, which they have done many numerous times before.
All right. Any other questions on that? Your question got answered?
Yes, sir, I guess that's all I can have. I'll ask afterwards, or hopefully before, we can still be some kind of projection, so I'll ask again next week if it's on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Right. Mr. Mayor, for the 270,000 earmark that y'all was gonna use on County Life or Windows, did Peterson get some of that?
You said
For the 270,000 for earmark for the Windows for County Life, could Peterson get some of that? Get the same, get some of the money for the Windows too?
I believe when the came in and we agreed on that, I believe that was for that area of County Line and for the crossings right there on Torrey.
So, the question is, could Peterson get some of that?
Peterson is not part of the project for the CN Railroad because they're not close enough to that project.
I'm Nathan Griffin from 22317 Brookwood. I'm asking the mayor as well as the board, I would like for you to really take this into deep consideration. This is about number 10 on the agenda. It's the discussion of bidding for board of service. I think would be a pleasure to the workers that's laid off that they could get called back. And I think that Public Works could do the job. And if Public Works did the job, it would save money. Why are you going to go outside and get an outside contractor or going to have bids for more than one contractor? You're going to have 2 or 3 bids when you got people laid off. So if you're going to spend money, you claim you don't have money, but you're going to spend money if you get an outside contractor. So why not call the workers back that's laid off? And I think they'd be very much pleased. That's just something I'm going to say for the workers. Take that into consideration. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
John Hinkle, 1636, 216th Place. 4 or 5 weeks ago, I asked about budgets, if it's possible to get what the budget is for different departments, where we're at for the month, what was budgeted for the year. I'm assuming that you guys must see something to see where you're at for the month in the total budget. Why can't we see something like that?
We did have the collective report. I believe the finance director did put out one to the board last week. Oh.
It would have been in the box, Mayor. The collection report and I believe that Mohan was asking for a sample from a previous report, treasury report of information that you all wanted to have and to see. When I talked to him today, he said he hadn't gotten, so he had the old samples of what the treasury report, what you all wanted to be on there to do so. And what this gentleman is speaking to, Mr. Hinkle, is that correct? What he's speaking to is actually a report that Mohan does in reference to spend down where we are every month. He'll do that for the previous month. Then he will supply for you all to have for your information. If you care for him to put that on the back, he can make copies for that on the back. It's your direction to do that. But again, Mohan needs to have a copy of that treasury report, because according to what you all said for the collection report, you want to have that on the back table. And there was information, I believe, Trustee Williams was very emphatic about how the former mayor would read it off. I have a sample of those. So if you have one, the clerk can look for one.
I actually passed to 2006, and the only thing that says in the minutes is that the mayor that is read. So this will collect the report in the files.
So we're just looking at someone has one and maybe your old files that we can have a sample for him to look at. Or if you just want, if there's some information, even from those minutes, if we can just get a list of what it was, he'll make it look like it looks, so that we can do that. And if you want to have that monthly report that he does do, put on the back of your care, it's based on your direction. Let's do that. Otherwise, Mr. Hinkle can request it for your information.
It's similar to the report.
But it was a one-page, it had like about 15 of the most important things on it, and they're going to agree with the beginning. Now, what I'm going to try to do the next time I was in the office is go back on an actual tape of the day that's in there, and we can kind of put something together if you want. But at this point, there's no physical paperwork to think about.
All you did, right, it's a month of November, property taxes was $1,754,537.94. Other taxes, say bonds and procedures, proceeds, license and permits that you would read straight across with a grand total for telling residents what it was. And this was provided.
All the months out there. Did you say the most recent?
No, you had it. There was a running year, so there was 12 months worth of data on there, so that's why I thought it was one page. There's 12 months worth of data, and when the mayor would read it, he would just read straight across it. This is for the month of November. And then the next month he come in and say for the month of December totaling, at the end it would total what the grand total was.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, what I'll do is have direct Mohan to have him to duplicate this. We'll duplicate the same number, I believe the numbers of the over here. Yeah, we'll duplicate this along with the millions, and when it's complete on a monthly basis, we'll put it on the back table, and then if your direction, he does the report anyway. I can provide the other report where they spend on where they are to support, and we can move that on the back table as well. You can do that. Anytime.
I think what Mr. Hinkle's referring to, though, is that the budget support is the budget. Mr. Hinkle, if I understand you correctly, you want to know where we are in the budget, where the departments are on their budget.
Where I worked before is every month we would get the cost comparison sheets. You would look and see what was budgeted, how much was used that month, how much you still got left to use for the year. And it gives you, at least if we knew what was budgeted.
Right. Well, last week when we had a special meeting on the 30th, we asked Mohan to actually prepare that for us, and there is a copy available to any resident who wants it. They can call my office and I'll make sure it's at the front desk. Okay? And we had, so I think it was the 7th one, that he provided? We went over it last week. It was one of the items that we called for a special meeting, and I'll make sure that it's available at the front desk for anybody who wants it. After tomorrow. Give me a chance to put that there.
And then is there a chance that we're going to be able to get a copy of the audit?
Well, you get a copy when I get it.
Whenever we get it.
It will be posted online. Don't have it. We did invite them to the meeting tonight, but they were unavailable. So we invited them for the next meeting. But I don't have a copy, even as soon as it's available.
Is there going to be a copy available that we would be able to see?
It'll be online, because the first issue plays
The budget's online, the audit will be online. As soon as we have it, we'll put it on.
Okay. Thank you.
Judy Gastier, 223rd and Merrill Avenue. At the last board meeting, we received a police report given by the temporary police chief Fox. That was very brief, and it included 13 burglaries and 46 arrests. End of my report, Mayor. I'd like to give the people here, and of course you sitting up there, a brief outline of what happened in just one weekend in that time element that he gave. There were numerous incidents on the extremely incomplete report in just that one weekend involved. A young girl of 4 or 5 was outside walking her brand new Maltese puppy up and down the block. When she got to her yard, she bent down and she took the leash off the dog to take the dog inside. The puppy started to run. She chased the puppy. She caught him and she had him in her arms, heading for home. There were pit bulls coming at her. She saw the pit bulls and she started to scream for her mother. The dogs kept coming. She threw the puppy down and ran, terrified. The pit bulls got her dog, her puppy. Her mother got her. The man that owned the pit bull that had the dog in his mouth had to be beaten by the owner to let that puppy go. Another neighbor covered the puppy with a blanket because the little girl was screaming and hysterical that her puppy was laying there that way. The mother was terrified. It could have been her daughter under that blanket. The dog did die. But that wasn't important enough to tell anybody about. On the same day, they had mob action on 223rd and Nichols that required, with weapons, and it required backup from Linwood. That wasn't important enough to tell. On the same afternoon, there was a domestic call requiring backup. One of the people for Aiuccio's Pizza was delivering a pizza on Peterson, and he was robbed by gunpoint. They also took his car. That wasn't important enough to tell anybody. A resident called the police and told the police that there was a man in a car chasing a woman on foot. The woman ran through the caller's yard. The man followed the woman through this lady's yard, made a mess of her yard, and missed hitting the lady by mere inches. But that's not important either. And let's not forget the resident who had his grandkids and their dog, a 1.5-year-old lab, spending the weekend with their grandparents. The man works a midnight shift and was still up at 4 a.m. He stepped out on the back porch to have a cigarette before going to bed. The dog was in the house. The dog started whining and yipping at the back door. The man thought maybe the dog had to do his duty, and so we opened the door and let the dog out. The dog ran out and ran around the corner of the house where there were 4 men in this man's yard. The dog chased them, and one of the men shot the dog. That dog also died. That dog was just protecting his loved ones. These are just a few of the tasks a bare minimum police shift was required to deal with. Mayor, when will you admit this temporary chief, lacking management skills, experience, and good common sense, is not functioning as a police officer, let alone a temporary chief? He has our police department down to their knees. Or is this what you want so you can call in Cook County Police? Will you be able to sleep at night if a child is mauled by dogs, or a resident is shot in his own yard, or a police officer is shot? You created the monster, Mayor. You need to fix it.
Mr. Mayor, can I have 5 minutes next time? Just before we start, I will say that I did notice, I thought the time was getting a little long too. I looked and somehow when I set the time, it was like 3 hours. So that's why I did give you an extra 45 seconds. Point of clarification, Ms. Anderson talked well above her 3 minutes by 2 minutes. So technically, she did have 5 minutes.
We don't need this. That's right. Let's go on.
I'll give her a couple of mine. Mine will be brief. Pat Couch, 221st and Shirley. I'd like to commend our code people because the lady has been down my street, across the street at the house that we have major issues since there's still 17 people living in that house and 6 cars parked on the street at all times. They're using 221st and Shirley as a speed trap. They run their cars down 221st and Shirley. I think I brought this up before, that maybe our police chief could look into that and either put some more officers on so we can get the speeding stopped before these kids get killed on that corner, because the kids from that house use this intersection as a playfield with their scooters and they never look when they cross the street. So somebody's going to get killed, then it'll be too late. The vacant house that is across the street from my house, I feel bad for code enforcement because she was there the other day when there was a man there looking to purchase that home. They went to the backyard. I felt bad for them because they had to come back. It reeked so bad because the neighbors used that backyard, that vacant property, as a bathroom. Both 1 and 2. Also, since my home was hit by the car, it is completed now, the work is done. The fire hydrant is still there, it needs to be fixed, so if someone would let Kevin know, I believe he's gone. The insurance company is waiting for them to turn that bill in so that they can pay the bill for the insurance on that fire hydrant. It needs to be repaired now.
Hi. David Ryan, 1798. David Ryan, 1798, East 222nd Place. I've been a resident of this village for 50 years now. And I just want to ask this village board, why is Section 8 housing being allowed in this village when it violates Ordinance 9430, which says any condition or use of any building or structure that drastically diminishes the property values shall not exist here? Why is Section 8 housing being allowed here? I understand it can be put in the apartments, but who's giving these people the right to rent out houses? Section 94 was put into these codes to protect our investment in this corporation. Why aren't we protecting that investment? Can you please answer me that?
Well, I think Trustee Murray did answer that earlier, but we cannot.
Yes, you can, sir. The state constitution clearly states that our ordinances overpower anybody's.
No.
Yes, it does. The state constitution says so.
My knowledge, sir, but I will look into it. Nothing overrides what the state says except for your home rule. Your home rule, just so you know, overrides state statute. We're not home rule.
Correct. So our ordinance should prevail. Ordinance 9430 is in the code book.
I will check 9430 out, and I will be glad to get back
Because
to
you
you.
people ticketed me twice.
Sir, are you going to give me a chance to talk, sir, please? I said I will check it out. I'll get back to you. I know where you're at. I'll bring it to my knowledge that the state statute does rule over our local ordinance.
Well, I'll show you the state constitution.
Several times I've brought the cases up. Our attorney has advised us that we cannot supersede the state statute. I will look into it and I will get back to you, sir.
I would like that in writing, sir. I would like all of it in writing, please. Anything
You want me to
have
come
shown
over?
me
You
that
want me
you've
to
done
come
right
over?
to violate that ordinance.
Would you like me to come over and put that in writing and give it to you, or would you like to come
Just
over?
bring the copies of
here,
the ordinance that
whatever?
you're claiming that you have the right to do this.
I will do it for you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Let's go to the miscellaneous business. Board of Trustees. Anyone want to start?
First of all, I just want to announce that our neighborhood watch committee meeting will be at the fire station. Will be on the 26th. Will be at 7 p.m. The station is located right there on Jeffrey Avenue. We have a lot of room and we have a lot of seating places. This would probably be the area and the place we're going to continue to keep the neighborhood watch. The fire chief has no problem with it, and I believe the mayor has no problem with it. The second item, everybody knows I work for another town. I was at home and I received a phone call from the firefighter at my figure that said one of our police officers was in an accident and in St. James Hospital. Mr. Turner, could you know anything about did one of our police officers get in an accident?
Yes, trustee, I sent an email to everyone in reference to that. The police chief provided me with the detailed information in reference to that, and I sent that in an email as well to everyone this afternoon when I received the information from the chief of police.
I have another email this afternoon. So is the officer okay?
Yes, it was a minor injury. He was back to work today. I don't believe the car will be back to work today. It's in Public Works lot. We sent photos of that to the insurance company for their, and they also sent out one of their investigators, but it is my assumption that the car is totaled.
Picture of the car also.
Okay.
So we sent that over to the insurance company. We're waiting for them to come out and send out their adjuster, but it's at the Public Works field where they get the gas. It's there, so that vehicle is down, and we're just waiting for the adjuster in reference to that. The company will have to be replaced.
We're going to have a committee meeting this Friday at 7.
Microphone.
I'd like to thank the village manager for getting the information I asked her to gather from the different department heads, and at our economic development meeting, we will be addressing this issue and trying and getting a full report back to the village as soon as we get everything taken care of.
Southburg Mayor Management is having their golf outing on the 20th of July at the Lincoln Drive Country Club. And in the past, I know the last couple of years, the village has not participated as a village or donated anything, or they got no actual or ticket. I think I played in the golf outing once. I'm just wondering if it's something that the village would like to get involved with, at least maybe sponsoring a whole, but on something as for supporting the South Suburban Mayor Management golf outing. Why don't I do this? Why don't we get the information and put it in everybody's arms, and we still have time